Futures pointing to another positive open coming up this morning following more Omicron-related data out this morning from vaccine makers Pfizer and BNTX suggesting a third dose of their vaccine will be sufficient to control the Omicron variant. We'll talk about that and other moves in vaccine makers coming up here this morning. But the move back in the futures seemed to follow that announcement this morning back to positive territory. Not a huge move overall, but we are positive on the day. If you remember, coming off a very, very strong session yesterday, the market basically right back to day highs at the end of the session, despite a little bit of selling that came in late in the day. The S&P and the NASDAQ posted their best days since March of this year. Yesterday, the Dow, a little bit of a laggard yesterday, still up more than 400 points. So pretty positive right across the board. Individually, Apple shares on watch this morning. A new report from Japan's Nikkei suggesting they may fall as much as 15 million units short on their iPhone production target this year. Still higher on the day, so we'll have another look at Apple. Stitch Fix, I should say, tumbling after earnings were a bit of a disappointment. Their forecast missing expectations as well. We're going to get that neobank, new bank, coming to market tomorrow. I actually thought it was today, but big IPO. We'll discuss a little bit maybe this morning as well. NU coming to the NYSE tomorrow, not today. It is Wednesday, December 8th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Yeah, positive, but only just right across the board there for U.S. markets. NASDAQ down, the S&P to the upside, but just positive overall. Crude oil, same story, just positive on the day. You can see Bitcoin came off a little bit. It was an interesting move when that Pfizer and BNTX announcement was made. All cryptos made a bit of a move to the downside. Ethereum still holding on to positive territory, but here we are back to more or less all-time high territory. Hey, Neil's back. Everyone's back. It's been a while since we've had everyone in their right chairs. Thanks again to Arun for sitting in for the past few days. Interesting day here, guys. As we said, the Pfizer news coming out this morning. Everyone says, ho-hum, as you were, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, more or less. Like, that's...
I mean, that's what the point of the booster.
That's exactly right. That's the point of the booster. Just watching some NVAX, man. I can't believe that thing got back up to 184 pre-market here. So anyways, there's going to be, obviously, there's a lot moving here today. The only thing that wipes the stink off of Bill's loss is a good up day in the market. So thankfully, yesterday was a good day in the market. Imagine if it was a down day, I'd be in the doldrums for sure. But look, it should set up to be an interesting one here. Obviously, Stitch Fix is probably the only thing I could find that was woodshedded here this morning, but there's a heck of a lot moving. I have barely even looked at travel names, but some of the vaccine names should be on the move. Watching some Pfizer and some, and specifically some NVAX, not necessarily Moderna. And then, you can't get too far away from some of the EV names. And of course, ChargePoint, we'll get into that one a little bit here. ChargePoint plug, the battle continues with those two.
Yeah, what's up to Bruce Simmons? Thank you for your support of the show and saying it's his favorite show. So that's fantastic. Thank you guys for coming and hopefully never leaving. And, I'm sick and tired of all this crap. Like last week we heard Apple. And remember I said here that there was no way a supplier of Apple would come out and say that Apple has stopped ordering supplies and that they don't need any supplies anymore. Like that supplier would be kicked to the curb. And now today, and then we touched 158 on that news, by the way, 158 on that news, right? And then now today, you come out with a complete opposite story of Apple saying that they're going to fall short of their production targets. So one story is that Apple, they can't get enough. They're canceling supplies. Their suppliers are saying that, they have too much supply. They're not going to hit their targets, blah, blah, blah. And then today it comes out and says quite the opposite. They can't get enough supply due to the supply chain issues. So, what is it going to be here with Apple? And I think that whoever put out that story about a week and a bit ago, obviously was just loading up the boat there, getting long, and now Apple approaching $3 trillion at near 172. So yesterday we were short there We were short there in the afternoon, and that didn't work out too well. And then now today you're going to see Apple. See here, oh, good. Here's all the positions here. We actually did okay on it until the imbalances came out a bit, and then we just wound up getting out. So we were shorting Apple here around 170. Just thought the market was going to pull back a little bit. We're kind of right. I mean, the market's pulling back now, but you're still up 0.11. Apple up much further than that. Apple touched 174 on that report this morning, and we're just going to see where it goes, man. I'm going to be long Apple today. We just got to find the right spot. Look, it's going to be an exciting day. Even though it's a Wednesday, as we head into what's typically the slowest month, there's going to be lots of stuff happening here in the marketplace, including more EV news. You talked about Stitch Fix there, and then Pfizer. I mean, hey, look, that's what the boosters. I mean, I was listening today on the radio. There's still 1,000 people dying from Delta every single day in the U.S. So, I mean, until people get vaccinated, it's not really going to matter. But it is great to see that Pfizer's helping out this market a little bit today.
Go Pfizer.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see how Apple, Apple took the whole market on its back yesterday, 10 minutes into the close, and the market just ripped right back to almost day highs. So we'll see what happens with Apple. We'll see what happens with these vaccine makers coming up. Before we go any further, Miss V is here. Good morning.
Good morning, team. Happy Trading Wednesday to you all. I wish you a wonderful day. Please like this video and let's get it started, Brandon.
Yep, let's get it started. Lots to discuss here this morning as we head towards what should be an interesting day, as we said. We have this vaccine news, obviously going to benefit BNTX, going to benefit Pfizer. Moderna not really doing much. We've had a bit of a choppy session over the past couple of days, pretty volatile, in fact, for Moderna. NVAX with positive news yesterday, if you remember, the EU drug regulator coming out saying their vaccine could be approved in Europe within a matter of weeks. So positive news for NVAX yesterday. We're back to the downside here today, but this group going to be active for sure today, guys.
I mean, like the Pfizer news causing a gap down in NVAX, but at the same time, I had just noticed NVAX go right back to that, close to that 184, that top from yesterday's action. But Moderna also made a spike right around that same time. So already a lot of activity pre-market. That's a $15 spike on Moderna that just pulled back $10 in the last 15 minutes or so. So that's not insignificant. We're right back in sort of in the middle of this the 200 period moving average on Moderna in particular. But you kind of see it getting off the table here. What makes it a little bit scary for, I guess, the bulls, I would say, is if you go back to the 6th, you look at that drop off we had, 287, you get the flush down, and that was just an ugly, ugly, ugly morning there on Monday. And it was the vaccine names that didn't really recover. It was tech that made the recovery and made those bottoms. But now you've rejected twice. Look at these sort of wick highs trying to get through this 290 area. So a little bit of weakness in Moderna, and NVAX, of course, had their own news from yesterday, which gives it a little bit more strength. But not a level I was looking. I was looking at NVAX today, up at the top there, 185, and then 184, 185, and then 164 support. But suddenly, I'm thinking resistance on Moderna at 290 is going to be a big one here after they both got that massive spike and then just fell right back down. Weird.
Yeah, I thought Pfizer was a good sell up there at $55, $56, but now I kind of think it's a good buy. I mean, everybody's talking, and like I said yesterday, no matter what you think about COVID or the stats, I mean, they are what they are. I mean, here it is right here. Here's the CDC, and this is what I was talking about just now. We just cracked over. There's the 1,000 daily deaths for the U.S. So you can see we are cracking above that here in the last little while. So it's not a good one. And I just think that this is going to be a sort of a new thing that we have to deal with. Our kids, their kids, things like that. I mean, flus and strains like this that keep coming through. Now Pfizer is definitely a household name. I think it kind of was before, but it's even more so now. And I think that when you get that kind of talk, from people like us, the media, doctors, everything, Pfizer's now going to be a name that people are going to talk about, and it's going to be here forever. And we'll just wait to see where we go. But I like this 52.50 break on Pfizer. I think we topped out there yesterday, and today there's coming with better news. So let's see where we go on Pfizer. And I don't mean to be talking. I mean, I'm not here to make political statements about the vaccine or the virus or anything like that. Honestly, I mean, here in Canada, we're like the most neutral probably country out there. We just kind of follow what everybody else does. So, you know, I just want to get past all of this, and really I want to just talk about stock and what's making them move. But because Pfizer's in that realm, you know, I think that if you're going to make a trade, you need to think about some of the stats. And as you're seeing here, Ford at the top, but I don't even see Pfizer on here. I wish I did now that I'm looking. I mean, I know I'm getting older here, but there's really oh, there it is. There's really nothing on, like 57,000 on buy order. I mean, I don't, you know, we're at 52.20 right now. I still think we can go, but, you know, there's very little interest right now off the open. So let's let the market settle down once we get going. But I do like Pfizer. I love it back here to 51. I mean, if the market dips, we'll be buying, and I actually do like a breakout. But yesterday we were 0 for 2 on breakouts. AMD failed, even though it wound up ripping the rest of the day. And then one other one, I think it was it SoFi? SoFi failed, which wound up above. So they both wound up above their breaking price, but they did fall back down off open. So I think we got to sort of learn from yesterday's mistakes, wait for better prices.
Sean, you mentioned AMC there briefly. I was just having a look, both GME and AMC in positive territory, only just, but decent volume on both so far this morning. GameStop earnings after market tonight, which could be interesting. I also noted there was a number, this is about one of 4 or 5 that I saw, very kind of cautious notes on GME going into earnings tonight. But as we said, both still positive on the day.
That headline was like, what, a no good, very bad day. Like, okay.
What was that? I missed that headline.
I know. I just very quickly, I tried to read it faster on Brandon's screen. No good, very bad day or something along those lines. Look, I'm not going to sit here and talk fundamentals about GameStop and the earnings report like it's going to matter too much. But they both have a bit of a go to the afternoon yesterday and then the top in here today, and then an obvious top. I think the GameStop's, this is 180 pre-market highs, and then, you know, afternoon sort of top after spiked and flushed at the open. That feels like a little bit of a trap to me. You know, when I contrasted looking at AMC trying to break out today, it was right at like the 50 and the 200 period is the same thing as your pre-market high. Or GameStop, you know, there's a tight range right in here, which sort of lends itself to, okay, slow grind to the upside. You break 180, and then you're running right into, you know, this 182 to 185 chop area where it had a 185 fail break just last week. So I'll be cautious with GameStop, and obviously going into earnings, it makes it a trickier trade as well. But I think it would be a little bit more interesting to dip buy or play a failed rollout at 180. And the contrast that I was sort of getting at there is, ooh, look at that. I typed it in, flipped it, and this is going to be a good day, man. It just instantly, that wasn't even any, you guys saw that. That was like right. No delay.
Well, it's probably because I'm on it.
Well, so actually, you know how that works.
It's feeding off.
It's a fair point. Like if I haven't called something up, or Sean or somebody hasn't called a symbol up, it doesn't work on my quote board as much. But this is what I'm talking about. Here's a 200 period moving average where you're trying to break through on AMC, the bottom end of a range, and when you're through that, it's basically clear sailing. And that's why I wouldn't touch the 180 break on GameStop with a 10-foot pull. Like dip buy it if you have to. A 180 fail at that price would be better. Whereas AMC, like you break out here and there's nothing until you get to like 35. Like that's what you're looking for with the breakout style trade, and what you're looking to avoid on GameStop, in my opinion. Of course, double down the earnings aftermarket make trading in GameStop a little bit more tricky. I hollered it out, but I didn't actually take the short in that DARE that was halted half the day yesterday, broke 250. Watch out for 220 to 225 for potential support there.
Yeah, look, yesterday we were noticing the same thing on GameStop there. It was some nice movers. I believe Arun had a couple dollar winner there or loser. Either way, it doesn't matter. It was a mover there. So we were looking at it, and that made us look at AMC, which bottomed out at 29.50, and then it instantly ripped all the way to 31.50. So I believe that the AMC traders and apes will hit this right here aren't leaving, and I actually believe that. If you didn't get flushed out down here at $25, I cannot believe that day. $25. Like you're going all the way back to some of these February highs before you dip back down and then took off again. So, I mean, if you're not leaving yet, I don't think you're leaving, and I think we're approaching well, I don't think. We are below the 200 period moving average, but how long are we going to stay there? It doesn't look like it wants to, man. We may bust up above higher here, and honestly, for me, I think this 31.70, we take this thing long, and I want to bid this all the way to 30.50. I believe we do have a bottom here, and I think it'll be supported. I like AMC here. I think we take out this 31.70. It's on the sticky note, which today, thank you guys again. Yesterday we had over, and I mentioned this to Natalie, I don't know what happened there yesterday. We had over 200 likes and over 30 retweets or something. So here it is again today. Apple, Ford, SoFi, DraftKings, Donkey Kong, and AMC, all with a couple little notes here. Please, I'll put this in the chat and have a quick look at it if you can. Retweet it, like it, whatever, share it. I think that we're just trying to grow the community overall. But basically, all I wrote down here was 31.70 yesterday high. Let's buy some dips. It was pretty choppy yesterday, but if you bought dips, forget about the first 30 minutes, okay? Because that's up, down, and then ripped up. But then it came back into the same level that was formed in the first 30 minutes, 30 bucks. It comes in there, gets bought up. It tries to come again, gets bought up there. Dips down to VWAP, gets bought up. Then here at the end of the day, this is going to be the end of the day, so we know that's a little crazy. But again, gets bought up right here at 30.50. So I like AMC. And I do want to say something here because I've been reading the chat, and this is the thing, you know, I did want to say something about that death rate that I was showing, and it actually didn't, you know, come to me to figure that there are an increase. And this makes sense. Heading into the winter months, you will probably, and it makes sense that this would happen yearly, regardless of COVID, that death rates would start to spike a little bit heading into the winter months because there still is, you know, the strains of the flu and what not out there that do hit the general population. So that could be, again, another spike for that. So, you know, we're not making this a statement about vaccines when Neil and I and Brendan all talk about them. Quite frankly, I shouldn't even be talking about it now because I'm just drawing attention to it. But I just want to say we're talking about it in terms of trading, not. I think we always say that we're no doctors. So, you know, definitely take it on your own, you know, advice and whatever. Just go with the flow. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah, the truth reality is you just trade Pfizer's and NVAX's and Moderna's of the world. Is you want to have some understanding is some of the underlying what's moving it. Regardless of what your opinion is, and we're going to be watching a lot of those here today. So
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to make opinion on Disney. You know, if you really think that we're going down another, you know, negative route for these shots or possible new strains, things like that. Like, you know, if there's a brand new strain, does AMC still work in this condition?
True.
You know, and it affects the way we talk about the stock. So we don't mean to talk about it in a medical way.
Okay, this is way off topic here, but like, what the heck was up with the Amazon Web Services thing? I read a thing you couldn't get into a Disney park.
Yeah, no, you couldn't.
Like, you couldn't even.
Streaming. You know what the funniest thing I actually heard? Roombas and all that stuff. So anything.
No.
Yeah. People that were hooked up to like their Wi-Fi and stuff like that had like their automatic. You probably have this because you're a rich guy.
We're screwed, man.
You know,
robots control
these automatic robots. They couldn't start to clean because they couldn't get the directions from the server. There's a few funny things like that, but I didn't hear that people couldn't get into Disney, but it would make sense. But,
yeah, a lot of stuff was down apparently, but it's crazy.
I mean,
it goes to show how connected we are and how powerful, you know, like AWS is, and I guess they're not alone, right? Like, I mean, these big cloud
they're pretty
companies,
much alone. There's only like 3 or 4 of them, which
in the cloud space, I mean,
which is a dangerous proposition.
Yeah, it's Microsoft, Amazon, like
I mean,
everything is.
If someone ever hacks into AWS and they can't get it going, you saw Roblox down.
It's scary.
Actually, I want to. Where's Pratt? He's not in yet, but I want to know whatever came, and maybe you guys can let us know on the chat. Whatever came of that Roblox shutdown, it was shut down for like 3 or 4 days. Right. There over the weekend, and I don't know if we ever found out anything about that, but yes. Oh, we did get a super chat. I believe it was from Omar, and it was a while ago. I meant to talk about it. It was 50 Singapore. Here it is, right here. Thank you, Omar, again. I never want to forget to mention this, but welcome back, Nail. So thank you, Nail, as well. I like that name. And Sean and team. So good luck. Thank you, Omar. Thank you for watching it. And let's just go on, talk more about stocks and less about AWS.
I was reading on that, one more point. I was reading on that yesterday afternoon. There was actually Amazon delivery trucks sitting on the side of the road throughout California yesterday because without connection to the servers to get, you know, directions to where they want to go, they had nowhere to go. So there was Amazon delivery trucks actually just sitting on the side of the road with nothing to do. A few other earnings names to discuss this morning, guys. Nothing significant as far as moves to consider, but there's Campbell's, there's Goodyear Tire, there's this one as well, Weber. I bring it up only because I was actually looking at a few of these on the weekend last weekend. 4% here for Weber, if you remember, came to market this year. I think it was this year, wasn't it? Yeah, back in the summer. For the barbecue maker, a nice look here.
Brendan has too much disposable income. You know, this is the thing.
I have no kids, Sean.
What was that, Brendan?
I have no kids.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that, you know. I was going to say they're dicks. You know what that means? It doesn't mean anything. It means double income, no kids, right? Dinks. Sorry. Forgot about, yeah, oops. But you could even, actually, that wasn't a dick, actually. Double income, no kids, not dicks. Yeah, double income, I'll figure something out with a C. Double income, I don't know, something kids. Anyways, yeah, no, so that's good. So I haven't even looked at Weber, but hey, I mean, I'm a barbecue kind of guy, so definitely Weber. I like the Weber. I like the Napoleons.
I thought their IPO was doing better.
Traeger grills, the smokers, really great. Yeah, why is it? I mean, you know what? It's not the right month, honestly. I know Brendan, you know, with all this disposable income, apparently, you know, he's looking at barbecues pretty much 365, but most people, I think, are looking at it in the springtime.
Yeah, I had thought that the IPO was, this is just it's when you check it, right? Like the last, I mean, I looked at the IPO like a couple of days into it, right? So I guess I'm going to have a positive impression of it, but I didn't realize we were back down here. So a good report for them, and IPOs have gotten beaten up, but this is a company that's probably not going anywhere. So hasn't broken out just yet. I'll be looking at $15. The volume's probably not there to actually care about it and add it to like the list of stocks I'm watching going into the open, but you know, we can add it to the radar. They're up 4%, pretty strong for them. I had no idea they even touched double bottom at $13. So it's still not too bad compared to some of the you know last year and a half IPOs that we've seen. This really isn't that bad.
Swedish krona, not Singapore. SEK, SKD. $4. So thank you, Omar. Regardless, but yeah, great grill there, Brendan. I think you've got a wise choice there.
I was actually reading, Sean, that this time of year you can actually get really good deals on barbecues. That's why I was out. Analysts making moves today. ExxonMobil, the only notable name down here on the upgrade side this morning. There's Stitch Fix. Yeah, not a good report, not a good forecast for Stitch Fix. Play was the other one. Dave and Buster's on here as well, to the downside, guys.
Yeah, look, I'm all about grabbing those deals, man. I'm all about that. I'm looking at the right. Look, I'd rather buy things off season, off peak. Damn, hell yeah, I'm all about. I mean, I know Neil and I are pretty frugal, but like I said, Brendan, you know, throwing money around. You
said frugal. I'm cheap. I have no problem.
What is the difference between frugal and cheap?
There isn't one. It's just
right. Okay, yeah. So I'm frugal. You're cheap. Okay, so we'll go with that. That's fine. But it seems I'm not that cheap when it comes to my kids. But I mean, well, I was looking at like what the hell Christmas is going to be, and trust me, like. Wow, I'm now threatening my kids that they're not going to get those gifts because, you know, when they see them, they'll realize what's popping off. And even on that, tonight they have coding and, oh my God, and my daughter brought home a beautiful she got fitted. She's on a pro gymnastics team, 7 years old. So they got their fitted leotard yesterday, and it's like, it has these little, they're not diamonds. She thinks they're diamonds. They're just little, whatever you call those things. Whatever, little
I know what you're talking
pendant things there.
I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, amazing.
Someone actually just said, thoughts on Billy Bean's SPAC?
Frugal is a fancy way. See, fancy.
Thank you, Ryan, for the super chat there. I saw someone and we'll get to that. That's the RBAC SPAC in a quick second. But I saw a lot of people asking about ChargePoint. It's not the earnings. Obviously, it's on the watch list here, and it's down 4%. But there is a level worth watching that I think I'll be staring at right here at the open at 2065. I mean, it had a wipeout bottom on Monday, like basically everything did, and some of them are really, really ridiculous. Through $20, like look at these prices. You had to be so fast on Monday, you know, watching Lucid and focusing on that one stock. You missed out on a million things. But the support it put in the afternoon was at 2065. That's exactly what we're challenging here. Double bottom 2065 on ChargePoint. From a momentum standpoint, that is a hit the bottom when it goes type of level. It's sort of as simple as that. But the good thing about it here is because you already had that wipeout bottom into support here in ChargePoint, yeah, you could bounce off of 20 pretty nicely here. So even if it's a quick scalp trade on 65, that's the kind of level that if it gets reclaimed after 20 doesn't break, could be good signs for them. It wasn't a horrible report in the end there.
Yeah, ChargePoint. Sean is a rhinestone cowboy. Oh, that's what those things are called, maybe? Someone said being frugal is when you still eat at Applebee's. And I'm going to say, honestly, truth be told, there's some sort of a song, and I just asked my wife, and I don't know what it is. It's like a country song. It's like, Brendan knows for sure. And it's something like eating at Applebee's, or I don't know, maybe you guys know what the song is called. But anyways, when we were in Niagara Falls, there's an Applebee's on Clifton Hill there. And we tried to go, but it was closed.
Because COVID.
No, not because COVID. I think we were just there like at 8 o'clock, and it was on like a Thursday night or something, and it was that Thanksgiving there. Fancy Like That. That's what it's Fancy Like. That song gets blasted. You've never heard of Fancy Like, so don't worry about that.
Clearly not.
But that song gets blasted in my car, and it's actually pretty catchy. Fancy Like. So Fancy Like Applebee's, and it's like taking your date to Applebee's. So we tried to go there with the kids, but unfortunately it was closed, and we wound up eating at Boston Pizza. It was actually pretty good. I think I had a meatball sub. I don't know what I had there. But yeah, there we go. So that's good. Yeah, Fancy Like. Yeah, great song. Very, very hip. You heard of that song, Brendan? Fancy Like? That's a lie.
I have lied. I don't know.
That's a lie.
But I thought Brendan likes country music.
That's a complete lie.
I don't get an opinion, I guess. No. I have not. I've never heard of it. I just saw a few of these popping up, guys. It's worth noting travel stocks going to be interesting today. Not a lot of volume right across the entire group this morning, but this announcement this morning obviously going to benefit a few. There was a positive note on Wynn, specifically out of the casino names, but some of the airlines just starting to catch a bit of a bid here as well.
Let me talk about Wynn quickly here as we'll go back to stocks and less fancy like stuff. Look, we talked about Wynn a couple weeks ago, or not even a couple, what am I talking about? Like a week ago here, and we loved Wynn. I love Wynn. I've been buying Wynn sort of hand over fist. It's one of the names that I've been buying down here. I missed the 75. Like, I missed all these wipeout bottoms, but I did get a 78 bid in there, which is really nice. I think we're buying at 85 and 78, so I've only bought this name twice. Those of you, I think Sam was buying it with me there on the chat, and maybe Jude as well. But it's because I read a report that basically valued Wynn and all their properties at north of $8 billion, and then I looked at the market cap, and the market cap was like $8.8 billion, let alone what it was when it was down here at 74, 75, or 75, I guess, dollars, probably even went below that $8 billion. So, you know, I just like it for the enterprise value there. Plus, they have the name. You know, the properties are great. And then you have Macau, which I think is sort of low-hanging fruit right now. If that can get back, look, Macau's open, but there's talk, you know, the government wants to, you know, dip into some of that profit, maybe pull some legislation, or I don't know what it's called in China, but some rules and regulations about Macau. And I just think that if that can get going, I definitely like Wynn here at 87 bucks. You're up that 1.69% again. Yesterday, it's not a great day trade here, but it's a name that we can always have a quick look at. I traded it that one day. Today you're coming in with no volume, 20,000 shares. So again, with better news, here we go. I'm going to have to talk about, you know, the vaccine again, but with better news about Omicron here, I want to be long Wynn, and down here was great yesterday, 86 bucks. We'll open up at 88, so you get that 1 and bit percent. Any dip buys, I think we got to do that on Wynn, and I like this break through the top, but like I said yesterday, we took it on SoFi and we took it on AMD, and both faded out basically until it made a bottom and then took out those highs again. So I want to look at Wynn. I'm actually going to put Wynn on one of my other screens here because, again, it doesn't trade great. The spreads are quite huge. Like not huge, but 20 or 30 cents once it starts to open in the first couple minutes. So we'll wait to see where it goes. If we're lucky enough to get something down near 86, then I think we take that. And, you know, has it gone a little too far, too fast? Maybe. I mean, it was just 75. It touched about 90. So we make a big movement. That's like 20% in 3 or 4 days, but not uncalled for on some of these names. Neil's going to look at, I think, AAL here, obviously the Carnivals and so on and so forth, other names.
Yeah, similar charts, AAL and CCL. Usually I like CCL, but AAL today looks just a tiny bit better. You get a bottom end of the range, you still want to break out this 1865. I should start with the daily chart just to give you an idea of what it looks like when you break that high, right? It's sort of smooth sailing, I want to say, till you get to that 50-period moving average, which is about a clean dollar from that breakout price. So you start thinking about that, and you know it's been an environment where breakouts like this, where it has to extend into it, that's a little bit far away, right? So sitting out like 50 to 60 cents worth of a move, I don't know if that makes too much sense. It's a tight consolidation up here for like an 1830 break that can be scalped, but I like the support. It's a double bottom here for the last couple of sessions, well, the afternoon, and then in the afternoon yesterday on the pullback. So if I can get in the bid in front of like that 1750 to 1760 area, that's what I want to do. If it drops 30 to 40 cents at the open, I'm going to go long on the dip on AAL. I still like this top end 65 if it eventually takes out yesterday's high for a breakout. Just a slight preference to AAL over CCL today.
Yeah, interesting spot for a lot of these names this morning. We'll see how they play out coming off this positivity or somewhat positive note from Pfizer. Let's get a check of the overall market here. We'll bring in Arun and have a look at the futures. Arun, as we said, positive news, but we're only just hanging on to gains here.
The market's trying to figure out what it wants to do around 4,700. We saw a little bit of the hesitation yesterday as the market fell off from the 92 area, 92 area. Here we are just above and below 4,700 about twice in the pre-market. So it is trying to go up, but it is meeting some resistance here. So it'll be interesting to see how we do if we were to go up and take those highs again one more time. I think the high is about 12 and a quarter or something like that, 47, 12 and a quarter. If we get above there and we can stay above there, then clearly the buyers have won this battle for now. But it does look like there's a little bit of hesitation. So I would mark off the close bottom here, which is 46.80. If we get below that, you have to consider the possibility of maybe taking a short side move, just because we've tried 4,700 twice now with some decent volume, and we had hesitation in front of it yesterday. So if we can't maintain it, I think the short could be in play. But you got to be careful with that and how it kind of goes. If it goes fast, you kind of wait. If it takes its time to go down, then that's probably better, because that just means more volume is actually responding to the downside move. So I would mark off 46.80 on the bottom end, and then we've got 46.35, which is still in play from yesterday. When the market took off yesterday, 46.35 was the level that we had marked off to work with. So 46.80, if we get below that, maybe a short, use the high as a stop. And then if we get close to 46.50-ish, you might be able to find a long with the 46.35 bottom as well. Now, if it takes off to the upside, I mean, you got to let this market go and figure itself out again, because there really isn't a whole lot to work with up top. We have a couple highs, or the all-time highs, not too far away from there. I think it's about 20 or 30 points from the 47.10 area. So if we were to take the highs out, you do have to wait and figure out how it wants to trade, and maybe wait for some levels to develop before you step in and start taking some trades. But for now, though, it's just a matter of how are we going to react to this 4,700 if we were to go back there again after we open.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Yeah, going to be an interesting day here, guys. Let's get into what else is moving around in the pre-market. We'll have a look at the watch list, absolutely free for you every single day before we come on at 8:30 in the morning, guys. Brought to you by X Sigma. There we go. Thanks, guys. xsigma-trading.com for more info on them. Lots to kind of get through here. So let's jump right into Apple. We mentioned it briefly. Roku and Google agreeing on a multi-year deal extension for YouTube on Roku. Maybe we can have a quick look here. I know Sean just stepped away briefly there. Let's bring up Roku, maybe, Neil, and have a look at whether or not this is moving Roku. Again, if you missed that, Roku and Google agreeing to a multi-year deal extension for YouTube.
I just saw that spike, and I mean, it's 7% on Roku, which had been beaten up. Look, you wait for things to break out, and it's fantastic for it here. Quickly, 220 already gone. I'm going to be watching 230. 235, 240 look like awesome levels for Roku. Here's your problem, and I just sped past the level 2 here. It is still pre-market, which means a few things. One, liquidity will be lower, but I just saw a $2 spread. I know now it's just cleaned up to like 25, 35 cents, but when it got to the top here at 232.5 on Roku, the spread opened up by a couple of bucks, and I think that's what caused the pullback there. So 235, 240, some significant levels on Roku. That obviously just hitting the wire. This is a stock that's been in need of a headline like this, probably to get them going a bit. So it looks relatively bullish from this breakout, but then you look at the bottom end of the range, right? Like, okay, that looks great, this cluster breakout from there, but you're still running into this chop. That's why I kind of immediately, when I see this on the daily, think, okay, well, you're going to have 35, you're going to have 40, before you even start thinking about cleaning up some of this gap to the downside. And, when you get to like a 280, that would be like that. Probably you get a consolidation at that price. But Roku heading into that number, 235, back on the bid again here. Let's see what happens at the open. I'm not gonna on the face of this news in the last couple seconds digesting it, there's no way I would short a level like this with 25 minutes to go. But 235, 240, those are the places that look like it could check up a little bit. From there, man, if we get through 240, you look at this daily chart. I mean, there's room to run here on Roku, like there is on a heck of a lot of other names as well. Because let's not forget, Roku has been cut in half and has still been cut in half from its all-time high.
It's really why you got to do due diligence with this, because like obviously they were going to get that deal signed. I feel like, I don't know, but okay. Look, first of all, I don't think we should even continue to do the show. 613 likes. Like, where's Miss V? Oh, she's not there right now, but she'll be coming back through. We have over 4,000 people watching, and we have 600 likes. So if you guys could just, turn that around. And this is an absolutely free show. We do it for you every single day. When we're not even here, we bring in other traders much better than us, like Arun, like Greg, like Trader Pratt. We got Miss V in the building as well. But 675, guys, like if everyone could just turn this around, that'd be fantastic. Because again, we don't do anything. We don't charge you anything. We're just trying to tell YouTube that we are the best channel. So if you guys can help us out with that, that'd be fantastic. And then hit the share as well for that. Look, YouTube is a huge get for them. And I was wondering why Roku just could never find a bid. Now this, like Neil mentioned there, this might be the catalyst that works. So we'll wait to see where this pulls back into off the open. I mean, the move's going to look dramatic on this. But yeah, we're never going to get back. I don't even know why I'm looking at these levels. 220 and change. That's never coming through. Let's just see what happens here. And we've just been up here just a couple days ago. This goes back to December 1st where we were here. So, this is a move that I guess is warranted back to some of these levels. It's great news. I mean, people, for example, my kids love watching YouTube, and hopefully you guys do too. Hey, what's up, YouTube? We love you, YouTube. But this is a nice deal for them, and I think you take out this 240. It's just a matter of time and getting the right prices. So let's wait to see. A pullback in here would be pretty sweet if you're lucky to get it into 228, 226, something like that into here. But this is a brand new story, new news, new everything. So it's very, very hard to look at any of these levels. I think you just got to play momentum. And obviously, like Neil said, I don't think anybody should be shorting this right now. We don't really know where the top is going to be. But if you were interested in a short, then I mean 240, just because it's an even number, definitely works. But then you want to get short like 238, a little bit ahead of that number, and then use 240 as your out. So I think that if you're willing to take a couple dollars worth of risk, then this short may be good, because I don't know if this is 8% worth of news.
Yeah, huge move there, 8%. I can't remember the last time we saw that on a Roku. Do you guys want to talk about Apple? I mean, we discussed it briefly there, but we can kick things off here again. The Nikkei was who it was reporting that they could fall 15 million short on production targets for the iPhone this year.
I mean, look, production issues, supply chain, that's not a new story. You're going to put some numbers to that, and you're going to do that after what has been probably... I'm trying to think of I can't remember the last time you actually saw a move like this in Apple, and I could probably zoom back and cheat and find it on the chart for you, but in just, the short span of less than 1 month, you're getting a 150 to a 175 breakout. I mean, basically saying hold its spear. I do look at previous highs as support. So when you look at this 170 area, it broke there yesterday, kind of went back and forth through that level a couple of times. So I kind of say to myself, okay, 170 is a level. You always have to watch the overall market, because ultimately Apple will try to follow. But it's been a leader, and I think that could continue. 170 is the support level that I would be buying in front of on Apple here today. I think that's basically the only thing I'd be looking for there. I don't know that I've ever really loved breakouts on Apple. I think it's weird with the quality companies. It's almost like you always want to dip by as opposed to that breakout. But I'm looking 170. Will we get it? Probably not even a guarantee, because you'd have to turn red on the day before it hits that level.
Well,
did I jinx it now?
What, you turn Apple red? Yeah, well, I mean, the market's going to be red in a second. Look, so yesterday, now my trades aren't here. Yesterday I wanted to go short Apple, and we were okay, but until it popped up at the end and we wound up getting out, which is fine. So we just played it around here. Right now, it's the number one name on my sticky note today is going to be Apple. You can't deny the strength of this name, and I said that all these stories are, have just been back and forth, and they've just been manipulating the stock. It's crazy to ever sell Apple, and if you did that at 158, the last story that came out where the suppliers apparently said that, Apple's calling for a lack to send no more supplies because they can't they can't sell enough phones. That was down here at 158. That was this flush right here. So if you sold there, sorry about that. And now today you're coming out with the complete opposite story, where there's, the suppliers are basically saying that Apple can't make phones fast enough. So, I mean, we're going to wait to see what happens, but I think you don't short this name for sure. But I don't know if you go long right now either. We're kind of in that little realm here where I put on the sticky note that we would just be buying dips, right? So let's see if we can get to 170. I said the same thing as Neil right here. Let's look at the sticky note quickly. And thank you for the likes, guys. We were at 600 likes. Now we're at 1.5. So thank you so much for that. Means a lot. No shorting today. Let's look near 170 long. Sorry, let's look long near 170. Now they can't get enough supplies. So I think the story is a little bit mixed up, and it's just some manipulation happening here in Apple. I think you buy this dip down here, 170. We held there as resistance, busted through, and then we held right here as support. So what was resistance now turns into support. We like that. Thank you for all the kind words again on the chat. It's really great to hear. Even families now watching us. And if your kids are watching the show, please ask them if they like pineapple on pizza.
Don't.
All right, let's go to Pfizer, guys. Still holding on to a 1% move here. We're off the highs from that announcement this morning. They said initial lab results showing that a third booster shot of their vaccine will neutralize the Omicron variant. So as we said, about 1%. Back above this 52 area for Pfizer right now.
Shots fired by Sean there. Do not ask your kids that. Come on, that's ridiculous. I mean, don't do that. Don't do that to innocent children. Pineapple on pizza is terrible.
Oh, kids are liking it.
Pfizer at 53 it's just going to be an interesting price, and it's not to say that it's an automatic short there, but there is a setup that has worked a lot of times with the vaccine style names, and that's been you get a monster gap up on positive news. In this particular case, they think the booster is going to work. Okay, great. Is that worth the gap and follow that we're having here today? We'll see, because like other names, it was down on the gap down and holding a 50 level, which I would love to be buying in front of a 50. We're not going to get a chance to do that, I don't think, at the open. But I look back at this cluster where things failed on Monday, and this was after it flushed in the open. So it opens, flushes down, tests that support area here at 52.80 to 53. I think that's where your resistance is. It pops into there. It's a short in front of, and then 53 breaks, fair enough. But I love Pfizer, you guys know. It's just today for the setup, I'm looking at that pop and failure at 53. So that could be a short opportunity. This EFOY just popped up here. A late one. Brendan just mentioned, mentioning in the chat here for us, 5 million float. They're targeted UVC air disinfectors to the public. I'm watching $4.10 as a resistance level on that stock as it starts to skyrocket.
I want to say something about the chat, but I can't remember what it is anymore. Oh, yeah, here it is right here. It's Justin, and we've talked about this a couple times. Apparently, there's more scammers and stuff like that on Discord and stuff now, and so here's Justin right here. Sean helped me from getting scammed, so thanks, Sean. You're welcome, Justin. And I mean, this is the thing. You guys can always send it. I've tweeted out my profile. We have Nightbot doing the same thing, and I'm going to do it again right now. This is my official Twitter handle. I have official Instagram. Just make sure you check the handle, and if there's any misspells or 2 N's in my name or S's or V's and trader, like whatever, just make sure that it's legit, and then don't send like Neil, myself, Brendan, Pratt, anybody. We're not asking, I mean, we'd be asking right now for money. Like, we're not asking you guys privately for trading lessons or anything like that. Believe me, we are completely fine. We just want to help everybody. So just watch out for that, and do not send anything to anybody claiming to be us, please, and thank you. And maybe I'll send out a tweet and you guys can retweet that, because I just don't, it would crush me. I hate those stories of that happening, and it's apparently happening to our viewers, so just be careful. I don't know if anyone's actually done that, but like I could see people making fake Instagram accounts of me every day. So I just keep on reporting them, and that's what it is. They steal your pictures and then they change your name at the end. So it's easy to find, but the stupid thing is I won't even tell them what they're doing, how it's easy to catch them. So I'll just keep letting them do it. What about Airbnb? I like Airbnb today. We were looking for something yesterday to trade. It was a big move to the downside there to 182. I want to look for something like that again. It looks like it's not. It's up that 1%. If Airbnb wants to go, I love the 187. So I like that level there. But I also like this level too of 182. So let's watch Airbnb today. I think, again, with Omicron and with Pfizer, with this news coming out, you know, Airbnb should be one of the net winners of this as travel gets increased. If you don't like AAL or CCL, obviously there's some underlying issues there as well. I still think petro, man, like gas and oil prices, I really think that there's an issue there for some of these planes. And normally, you know, if we didn't have this COVID, I think we'd be talking a little bit more about gas prices and stuff like that than we are. But right now, Airbnb shouldn't have too many problems like that. We'll wait to see about a 187 break here on Airbnb. I like that play, but I also like a fade back in. If it does come into like this 180 level, I do like a long here on Airbnb as well. So just a few other ideas there for that, and we'll fire off some hot dogs because the kids are watching. The kids like hot dogs. We haven't had any trades here in the pre-market.
Kids love. I'm about to try to get some shares short on ISIG, which just popped up. This is right back into yesterday's prices. This was a good short off of 1450. You can kind of see when I was here 2 days ago. But yesterday's action, you go right back into this consolidation of the pre-market, and then the bottom here at 1260. That's where it seems like it's trying to turn around here. So if I can get something, and again, pre-market, this is a very, very thinly traded stock, size down. Understand your stops are going to, you can't forget about 10 cents or 20 cents on the stock. You're losing 40, 50, $1. Like those types of things are going to be what it's all about. So I want a relatively tight stop here at 1250 if it goes, and then just see what happens, right? Like I look at that level here, and if it can hold, I think it can run to the downside, but I don't want to have this blow me out through 13s. And then I'm waiting for, I'm holding it through and then averaging into 15. No, I want to get out and I want to re-engage at 1450 or so. But just watching this one spike up here, tiny volume, less than 1 million shares done here in a low floater. So I'll get stopped out if it goes like 20 cents against me. There we go. I mean, in and out. And I said this before when I'm trading one of these on my 15-minute chart. If I get stopped out, I want it to look like this. Overlapping triangles, like none of this like massive gap in between. Like I want to have a relatively tight stop there. It might not be done with this level, but ISIG, a mover from a couple of days ago, looks like it's trying to go again.
Yeah, that one wins the low float award of the day. 1.06 million on the free float for Insignia Systems, ISIG, guys. Just be very, very careful. Stitch Fix. Neil and I were discussing in the pre-market early on this morning that this thing was $100 if you go back to the summer. It's now $18.50 for Stitch Fix. Not a good report, not a good forecast for them. So pretty ugly here.
It's pretty ugly.
It wasn't 100 in the summer, but it was close enough. It was a year ago. It was $100, and then I don't know. I didn't really look at this too much here today, but they continue to disappoint. I thought they would have had a chance to make some hay here because people going back to work, and I think that's really what hurt them was that they didn't report as big as everyone thought they could have. People going back to work, getting clothing delivered to them, things like that. They thought maybe their subscription service would be ramped up. Here it's not. You're down to $18.50. I don't know. Did we get a short number on this? Because that's the only way that I can really see this rallying back, man. Taking out this 20. If there's a large short interest, they're coming in today laughing and loving life, up 25% off just from yesterday alone, let alone if they started to short this thing. Like, I mean, where are the green days here? I mean, basically from a month ago, let's go exactly a month ago. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these are probably market days that are up huge. So they couldn't even get up yesterday. Now you're getting down here today. Stitch Fix left for the dogs today, man.
Yeah, it's a pretty ugly one, man. And honestly, I saw on FinViz 11-ish%, like 11.5 or something like that. I just can't. I can't see any. Like the guidance, you're going to guide poorly in this space. You're going to get beaten up. And we've seen these 25%, 28%, 30% moves on earnings because you guide poorly in the market when you're beaten up. And just always assume that it can go lower. I don't think it has obvious support till you get to $15 on the daily chart, which is absolutely insane. I wanted to fade off 20, but that's when I sat down and actually thought it had a chance to get to 20. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case, but in the back of my mind, if it pops up and there's a chance to trade off at the $20 level, that's what I'll go for. Yeah, it's all over the place. Trade Ideas is 17%, Icon saying 8% there, so FinViz is right in the middle. Either way, it's a decent enough short interest that I don't know that I want to short the bottom here, but if it pops to 20 even, I guess that's the level I'd play off. And watch out, that dare, oh goodness, it came back to that 250 level, and now it's absolutely dying as that one starts to fade into oblivion. 225 was the halt top in yesterday's action.
These little tiny ones starting to come off. AUUD is another one starting to come off a bit. They had a podcast deal they announced this morning. We'll continue along here. Sean was right there. It was 65 in the summer. My apologies. You got to go back to last winter. This thing was above, Stitch Fix was above 100. Novavax, we mentioned briefly there in the pre-market. Guys, if you joined us early, up yesterday on that EU announcement. So EU drug regulators saying their vaccine could be approved in Europe within a matter of weeks. And then we get this Pfizer announcement. So back to the downside for NVAX, another one that can be crazy at times.
Yeah, I mean, it's like NVAX, we started the show talking about the spike that it put in from 75 up to almost that 84 level. It's kind of just sitting in the middle here at this particular point, but you can kind of see where this stands out. Yesterday's top here, this 185, I think that's going to be a bit of a line in the sand as you had a bit of a failure at that price before. So I think it's a fade off of that level. I just got into charge point. That broke that low of the day there. So charge point short just broke the low of the day on earnings. But this is a fade for me off of 185. If it does a fail break, that's even all the better at the open. I think you've got an obvious area for a target on any short that you put in here, and that is going to be this 164 level, like right down here, 63s, and then the support here, 64. So right in that dollar range is what I would be looking at. We're nowhere close to that, so I don't think at the open, I'm probably not even going to have an order out. I'll just let it sort of gravitate up to that particular price. But just to show you on charge point here, this is a momentum play for me. I mean, nothing necessarily against it, but I look at this, it was a pre-market low. You had Monday's afternoon low as well, just got broken. So short through there, there's lots of room down to 20 even on charge point.
I want to just talk about Disney quickly here. Another name struggling a little bit today, only up 0.13, but has been faded in here as the NASDAQ and the S&P come back in, both looking to turn red right now. Yesterday, obviously, this was held down a little bit by some of what we talked about earlier there, the AWS outage. Disney was a major factor there because they had their streaming services knocked down, and apparently I didn't even know, some issues at the parks and things like that as well. So that was weighing Disney down yesterday for sure. And in what was an absolutely monster day yesterday for the market, it was really strange to see Disney again tick that red. So, we'll wait to see what happens here with Disney, but that bottom, again, you got a wipeout bottom here of 140. That was great down there. We'll probably never see that. I mean, I don't want to say never again, but I don't think we'll see that anytime soon as we look here. I like Disney into this range. You can get it back here to 150. That bottom right there is 149.50. That's going to be where we get out. So we'll see if we can average into that if we're lucky enough to get something on a dip down. Let's just check out quickly with it. We still have a lot of time, actually. I don't know, this morning seems to be going slow, which is good. We can talk about more things, but right here, NEO, we haven't even got to. There's QuantumScape. There, yeah, 25. That was probably a little bit of a fake run up to 30 that it had, almost back to 40, I believe. Right there, PaySafe. What's up, Nick W? PaySafe CEO and directors bought shares worth 2.8 million. Yeah. I will look at PaySafe. I mean, that's a great sign. I haven't doubled into that yet. Palantir, nicely off some bottoms of 18, but you're still down to 19.50 here as some of these names need to get going. There's your PaySafe right there for you, Nick, up to $4. So that's nice. And what PaySafe's been doing is just trying to make bottoms again near this 330. We'll see if that can continue to work. Yesterday, nice move up here today. Yesterday, PaySafe was kind of barcoded, although it keeps opening up higher. That was the one thing, Nick, that I want to mention. Like yesterday, we touched this 378 before closing at 360. So, watch out for it touching 4 and then maybe closing somewhere around here, 380 and change. But we will look at PaySafe through $4. The director's buying 2.8 million. I guess it was dollars worth, hopefully. Shares worth $2.8 million. So we would much rather than buy 3 million shares. Right. But at the same time, that's not a huge amount, especially if it's multiple directors. So let's wait to see what PaySafe does. It's a show of strength for the stock for sure, but I don't know what their current positions are anyways. So, that's a good move, but I'd rather look at SoFi today, which I don't think it's not on our list. So let me just talk about this quickly. SoFi is on my sticky note today. Hopefully you guys are able to follow and watch and see this, and this is how you're going to know it's an official account too, because the sticky note is going to come out every day. We were long all day yesterday. We can show, and now it bumps overnight. So we were long all yesterday. It was a good trade for us. Was my number one stock. Buy dips and watch out for that 17 break. So we didn't get it yesterday on SoFi, but there's 17 again. We don't show yesterday. We actually have this fill down here yesterday at 16.15 or something. We actually got that long, so we let it settle down here off the open. And I'm thinking a very, very similar very, very similar play again here off the open if we can buy some of these dips. So right now I do have a current bid at 16.50 here on SoFi. So they'll come in. We're bidding also down here. Let's see if it takes out 16. If the market fades out today, it will do that. So we don't want to average in too tight or too heavy, I guess, to SoFi. But again, we'll take that trade, and I like it today. Let's see if this market can rally. You got to be long SoFi, in my opinion.
Yeah, interesting. Look, positive this morning. If you missed it, Nubank making its debut tomorrow on the New York Stock Exchange, dubbed as the SoFi of Latin America. So NU tomorrow on the NYSE. It's actually way bigger market cap, anyways, than SoFi. Tesla here, positive, guys, went red to green on a new street upgrade this morning and price target increase, going to a street high of $1,580 on their price target was new street. They also came out after that with November Chinese sales numbers that were down for the second straight month. So we're kind of chopping around here. You can see the initial move back to positive. We're kind of chopping around here at 1050 for Tesla.
I mean, competing headlines, obviously. I always say you can't trade Tesla every single day, and inside of this range is just it's an enormous fly zone. Like, it just, unless you want to scalp Tesla for whatever reason inside of here, I think it's kind of, like I said, it's a no-fly zone. You still have this obvious support at 1025, which I think, you know, that's probably not a horrible, like, catch a falling sword bounce level, but we like a lot of dip buys already today. And then I go up to the top, which was that previous low up at like 1060, 1065, and it's like, okay, you got to break out through that. But breakouts have not been the winning trade. I'm sitting out Tesla with those positive, with the back and forth, those two headlines. But we got a super chat here, Dan Drew, and I want to get, I know it's on the watch list, and we're going to probably try to cover it, but Dare, which was halted most of the day yesterday, they did get that. I think they got the company FDA approval there. I'm not going to pronounce the name of the drug because I'm bad at that kind of a thing, but selling off all pre-market here. It's just all kinds of weakness on Dare the entire time. But the halt levels, support 210, and then up at 225 was that halt high. I think maybe that's where this move could stall out. I did like this one for a 250 break, which I did not take. It has a chance to reclaim that at the open, but I'd much rather be shorting it the 60 to 70 area here. I think it's got to get through 275 before you can start thinking that it's going to make a big time run. So I'll be fading this one off for the open. I did get into that Lex in front of about a 585 consolidation area and got first leg out on charge point and might be doing a reload. But it's between 925 and 930, which means I don't reload until the open, hopefully there, Brendan.
A couple of small ones. Bottom end of the board, Neil was mentioning a few. AUUD, one of them. Again, this is a podcast producer, audio company, so they did some podcast deal. Big spike up anyways to 280 or 290. If you go to the daily chart, that's kind of right in the middle of all of this mess. We're already back down, breaking, in fact, to the downside. So this won't have a long way to go. It was only 190. 195, just below $2 yesterday. So if you can get a 20, 30 cent trade out of this to the downside before 2, I would take it and move on. 230, 250, 280, watching to the upside for AUUD, guys.
All right, lots of names, lots of names. Okay, so we've adjusted our AMC breakout bid here to 31.30. I think we'll probably get that off the open. So we're going to see if we can get the apes with diamonds bigger than their heads to go a little long here through 31.30. That's just going to be a level that's touched out here a couple times. We'll see if it wants to fly through. We are bidding lower. We're trying to pick up some stink bids this morning. I really think we could do a pop and drop. I see some people talking about that on the chat, and I mean that's where all my bids are, man. They're bid low on SoFi. They're bid low on Ford. Some people were asking about Ford a little bit as well today. We've been loving Ford, and I've been selling some at these levels, admittedly so. If you look at a daily chart here, this is what Ford's been doing, man. It's just barcoding up here on the daily. It doesn't want to break 21, and it doesn't really want to break 19. So, a lot of action here on Ford, but just sideways. It's doing good volume up here, that's for sure. It's kept the volume up. So eventually Ford, once this market gets going a little bit, it will break this 21. And then it will fly. But I'm not buying more. I'm already long Ford, way in the money down here. And we've been selling it. So not a heavy position as it was. Someone said stop talking about PaySafe. I know. PaySafe was an absolute disaster. I was just bringing it up because someone mentioned it there in the chat. Some other dip buys we have. We didn't talk about DraftKings, but again, this is on my sticky note today. Very, very disappointing that it failed breaking through $32 yesterday. Couldn't get going. It tried. It failed. If my chart's loaded up, I could easily show you this, but I can't because they're not loading. But here we go. So that's a fail that I'm talking about right here. 32.50. It tried, it couldn't go. That's embarrassing in my opinion. It got wiped out here by Jim Chanos. Couldn't go, so I'm a shorter right here, 31.20. We'll take that short off the open. So that's another name that we're looking for short. DraftKings short, 31.20, right here, yesterday's bottom off the open. We'll take that short. I don't have a target. I don't think we go down here. But if the market fails, trust me on this one, DraftKings will fail harder than the market. So you're already up 0.73. That could easily go back down to 0, which would be 30.50, something like that. So if we can get $1 or something on this trade, that's the only short right now that I'm really excited.
Similar to DraftKings, it's a bit of a different chart because Lucid's actually down, but the 42 level, if you remember from Monday, 42 was that like 3 times over you were able to get that short at the open and make a few bucks on. Actually 38 was the bottom, and there was a big time reversal I know that Arun had. So as we get to that level, it's a short for me through 42, even a breakdown trade at that particular price. I'm not doing a rollover. If it pops, but 42 your big level on Lucid. Not reloading on ChargePoint just yet, but I want to quickly show you here. Here is ChargePoint. If it gets up to this 21 here, I'll look to fade it at the open off of 21. We already took some out of our 66. You got the countdown already. Miss B's on the bell. She's in the green. 3, 2, and 1. Ring it.
That's always a good sign. Oh, wow, really interesting. A little bit of a mix there. That was like a remix right there. So thank you, Ms. V. Remix! Okay, let's watch out to see what DraftKings is doing here. We are now open on all these names. DraftKings just struggling near 50 right there. So we'll see if it's going to take that out. It just loaded itself up short 31.50. So let's see if it takes it out. We're getting ready to go short here.
Yeah, and already in and out of ChargePoint. So we took some profit here at 20.50, and then right at the open, it goes right through that $21 area. Tight stops there. Is Lucid, by the way, starting to charge down to, they said ChargePoint, they say charge down, to that 42 level. This from the 15-minute chart I wanted to show you guys. So if it breaks 42, I want to get in. Lucid started coming down. And Roku testing 240 already. That happened pretty quick.
Yeah, so yeah, damn right, it happened pretty quickly there. Yeah, great move there for Roku. We did talk about that, taking that 340 level. There goes AMC. So we are long. We're long right now. Let's go, 8 Nation. We're long at $30.60 here as we take AMC to the long side. Let's call up our 1 minute chart. Whoops, there it is. So a nice little long there. We'll see if it can get that bid going. Slightly in the money now, but we'll see what we're going to do right this now. DraftKings takes out that 31.20. We're short 31.18, but we're not stressing out about this one. We thought this may happen where we get wicked in, wicked out. We're just going to let this one dance around a little bit. Ford, we're into that one. Now defending this 20. Let's see if this one could be wrong. 1980 is my kill spot for Ford. So if we're wrong on that one, we're wrong on that one. Come on, AMC, let's go. I do have an offer in the 90s for this name, so hopefully that'll get going. AMC, I'm in 4 positions. AMC, DraftKings, Ford, and SoFi now long at right here, 16.55, guys.
And this EFOI immediately at the open tries to take out the high of the day. Here's a failed break through the high of the day, wick up, and then a failure back down. You know I like that kind of a consolidation. I'll get to that Dare. I was able to get into the short on Dare back in front of 250. So this is the first time through. It gave me a second chance. Pretty simple here, EFOI. Tests the high, doesn't break it. Consolidation lower. Stop out will be at the high of the day. This is what I meant on DARE. Comes right back to that 250 level. Quick 15-cent bagger. And then if it breaks the low of the day, we like that 225 and that 210 for some potential targets. Here comes Lucid now, 42 looking like it'll come in.
Come on, DraftKings. Let's go, baby. Let's get this thing to the downside right here. There's our DraftKings trade, man. We said no woman, no cry as it breaks through 31.20 there. Let's see if it comes to the downside right now. Now, see, it's very, very volatile here. Ford, we already took that winner right there, too. So we'll just, we won't spin the money. We'll just go a little Valeria here. Superman as Ford just goes long at 05, out at 11s or 12s there. And now we're going to wait to see what happens. AMC, man, damn it. Darn it. That one went nicely into the money for us. Not nicely. It went 20 cents. We didn't take it. So now we got to start defending some levels. We could be wrong on this. And like I said, we're not going to sit here and defend things uselessly. So watch out for $30 coming through here on AMC. That could be a key level for me to dump these shares. I can't even find a 20-minute chart here to see what's happening. Here's AMC. Yeah, I don't want this through 30. There's some tops there. Maybe bottom of 29.80 or something like that. But we'll take one more piece here on AMC.
Oh, wow. That another one came in here. Whoops, I'm like on the wrong page. I'm like, I didn't even adjust my keys for when Arun was using my Steam Deck there. But Pfizer pops up, gives that test at 53. I'm able to get 52.75s. We kick a quick 50-cent scalp winner. Gonna hang on to the rest to see how far it goes. But that EFOI on the other end of the spectrum, load. On the other end of the spectrum, we try the consolidation short. It did stop out accidental long. I'm not holding it because I didn't want that long position there. I never got a full position into the short, so my stop was for a little bit more. What is working is DARE, and Lucid did make the break. Come on, Lucid.
Did it?
There we go. Lucid makes that break of the 42. I got slipped to 85 on a 42 break. So that's not necessarily what I'm looking for. It kind of tells you the volatility in the spread in Lucid. It's a bigger trade. It's a bigger, like longer term, not longer term, but a longer time frame type of idea, because I think I'm not necessarily going to be wrong until it retakes about a 42 half to 43 area. So more of an area stop down at that price. And I'm looking to retrace all the way down to 40 even, just looking at that bottom break here on Lucid.
Yeah, we're doing some similar ideas here, but AMC right now is my main concern as we look to see if AMC wants to break through that $30 level. So I'm thinking 30 should be able to hold here on AMC, but again, you know, this is going to be a little bit of a slippery slope here as we're going to have to try to get some bids through on AMC, and I'm waiting right now for a little bit of a lower bid here, like 30.10, and then we'll use like 29.80 or something as our stop. You got to give a little bit of hard stops here as we're starting to go. We did empty out a little bit of Ford. It's starting to, whoa, okay. Market crash, was not expecting this on Ford here. So market coming down a little bit here, was not expecting that. So we'll see if we can get another long here on Ford around 1990. That was a strange move.
Yeah, and this Lex, I will get that fade like I talked about in front of $6 here. So we just got 585 to make my average price 75. I like this bottom here at 550 to take a first leg of profit out, and if it goes any further, fair enough. I'm going to go back over to Roku, which is still continuing this really strong move. But the market tries to reverse. It just took out 240. Put in a top here right around the daily chart. Right in the daily chart, you have like this 240 level. Right above it here is about 245 if you go back. So it looks like it just slowed down in the 40 to 45 range. And this could be a bit of a top. It's a monster move on. Oh, thank you very much, Ms. V. This is a monster move already on Roku. I think it's a great break if you got it, but at some point, this is a short that I have to take a chance at. And if it consolidates off of 45, that could be the price that we're going to have a look at.
Yes, thank you, Miss V, bringing the good right there. Yeah, it is freezing in here, and we talked about that yesterday, and I was wearing my jacket here yesterday after the show, so we'll see if that's going to come through again today. Hopefully it's not. Yeah, so right now, just looking at AMC, we are long now, so we're in this name. So we will dump the majority of it if it does take down through 30. We're going to give it to 29.80. I do expect, yeah, so darn it, man. I thought AMC apes weren't leaving, but maybe they're going to come back at a certain time. I can't wait for that to happen. So if this breaks through 29.80, man, we tested it, we tried it, and I put my own money here, right? I mean, this is what Neil and I are doing every single day. These are like, you know, real accounts, real trading, real money on the line right now. So we're trying here for you. Let's see if we can get it going. What's up, B?
There was a note there on Boeing, guys, right at the open. Dutch Airlines apparently looking at Airbus instead of Boeing as far as some new planes being ordered are concerned. So bit of a spike down there for Boeing, negative on the day now.
At least you know who it's going to be if it's not Boeing, because it's an oligopoly. So it's just the two names there. I want to go back over. I went right away from that EFOI, saying I didn't want to go into the long trade. That accidental long looking like it would have been pretty good. So one shot in, one shot out. It should have been a reverse. Well, hindsight says it should have been a reversal. But this spike here, last time it got up here, $5, a couple of points of resistance. So I'm going to be very, very patient before I take another shot shorting this one. I'll show you Lucid here. It's starting to go. Whoops, that's still my daily chart. It's starting to go again. It tried to get back up here. It got to like 42.15 or so. Now you're back down to 41.50. Why would I have a bid on the south side of 41.50? That should be on the north side of 41.50. There we go. So just going to ring the register on that one. I don't know. I'm going to hit this key because it felt like kind of strong, but the ES is 0.01 down. The NASDAQ is 0.19. And it's like a slow grind, but some of these names are starting to fall here. Lucid, one of them we like to the short side. And Roku is back in that target area. So Roku, one of the strongest names that I can find here today, is right back into that 40 to 45. It puts in the failure at 45. I think you've got yourself a double top that I take a shot at. I really wish I could have found a long in this one. The news had come in like pretty late for us. It was hard to find a long where you weren't chasing it too far, but up 11% already. That's tremendous.
Yeah, no, amazing. And we've been battling here a little bit, DraftKings, I mean, we called this short, and thank you for the credit there on the chat, but at the same, there we go. I was going to say, but at the same time, we got to get out. So we take a 90 there. So we'll take 30 cents right there on DraftKings for half, and then we're going to hold the rest. So I didn't like how it kept resisting there, especially in the NASDAQ. I mean, you're seeing the move down here. That should have been something here that DraftKings was following. So right now, we'll rest our head on this trade and see where we go from here. This is going to be a good call, hopefully, for me as it's making its move to the downside. I mean, I wish we were short everything that we were long. And one thing that's really strange. So AMC tried to go back there and failed, man. It got almost back to where we're long. It got back to 30, 25 or so, 21, 22. So we'll see if it is resisting 30 bucks now. Hopefully it does. But again, 29.80, it's basically that bottom. That's where we're getting out. That was our out before that bottom was made. So pay attention to that, hopefully, for all of us. And then Ford, like, again, we're caught again on this name, man. Not again on this name. This feels like what happened yesterday, where there are some strong names that just got hit right off the open. But today is a little different because there's the NASDAQ. We talked about it going red off the open there. That's exactly what it did. We said maybe a drop, then a pop, but we're just not getting that pop right now. It happened a little bit, and some stocks gave some relief. I know Neil caught some there too, but right now Ford is not doing that. It's coming to the downside right now. I should have been looking at a Lucid or a Rivian, something like that. I'm glad you were over there. But right now, Ford, we're out if it breaks 80, guys.
You know what's actually strong? So when the market came down, I'm like, why didn't I get any dip buys? I'm looking over at AAL, my 1775. It got to like 88s here. Now it's right back above 18. So that never came into play. Maybe I should have gone to CCL. But I think this is looking relatively strong as the NASDAQ leads the way to the downside. So some of the, I guess, travel names could be better dip buy opportunities. At this point, because it can't break the lower high, I'm going to cancel my bid and just look for a bottom around that 75 level instead of chasing it. I did get into Roku there to the south side just in this consolidation. So if it breaks out the top, I'm out. If it pulls back in with the market, I think we're laughing because, you know, I can put a target down here. Well, not a target. I can put a bid down in around that 39 for first out for a couple of bucks and then start thinking about 35 to 36. The only one that's not working to the short side is this Lex. I mean, it gave me one fill down at 560. I'm like, okay, that's fine. We'll get that first leg out. And then it's immediately retesting this $6 level. If it breaks 6, I'm out. I'll let it retest this lower high here at 650. I don't need to average in or hold it into that particular price. So crazy movement already in the market. Lucid just broke 450, so 41 is the next target down. Brendo?
First halt of the day goes to ISIG, guys, just spiking from 13 through to 14 on a volatility halt.
I totally forgot. And this is why I said tight stop on this one, shorting it the first time through. Obviously, wow, should have just been long at some point when it broke at the open, but it'll be a 5-minute or 10-minute volatility halt. Do not forget where this stock had come from. When it got here on Monday, it did get up to 15 and rejected several times. These were harsh rejections through 17. I will ring the Reggie on Dare as that one continues to come into the downside. Where is that other page? It's like a go-to page that I have for all these.
Right here,
I'll hit the backflip for Dare, which just gave the 225 target. Looking at 220 now for the next exit on DARE. Lex stopped out at 6, and it looks like it just wicked me out. That's dirty. Oh, I know what happened.
Oh, I had the same thing, man.
I just got wicked out at $6 on Lex. It's now at like right back down to 580. So that trap I fell for.
Yeah, trust me, my trap was much worse, I feel like. There's AMC right there, hits that very bottom, literally the price that I called out, hits it and then rips back up, and I wasn't able to get longer there. So definitely a huge mistake there as we'll take the L. We still have some on. I mean, we got out of about 70% on that break because I did believe in the name, so I wanted to hold on to some. It's just we should have done better there. We should have done better on that, and I meant to go long through 30, and we just simply missed it because the exact same freaking thing happened to me on Ford, but this one I caught back long. So we punch in more shares here to the long side on Ford, and now it's starting to work back to the upside. We're going to make this all, hopefully make this all back on Ford, but that was a nasty dip as well, man. There's that wick bottom too. So again, we're going to try to remember this. It's still only 942. I don't need to be taking all these crazy breaks, and we did it yesterday, paid for it, and we're doing it today. So we'll make this back. Let's see if Ford can go. A couple wick bottoms here, my bad. And Apple as well, new position alert. We just look at that trade. We just got out there in 24s, out 80s. So a nice 60-cent win there for Apple. What's up, Brendo?
Another one with a bit of insider buying, I guess. CEO apparently of DocuSign picking up 4.8 million today. So a huge move up here, 4.25%. Finally, some relief for DocuSign, guys.
And it needs it, to be sure. By the way, Pace 8 broke through $4 at the top there. But yeah, I mean, the pre-market high was at 99, and then it just broke 4. I don't know why I have a little bit of a gap in my chart. There's some data missing. But it broke 4, got to 404, and is already pulling back in. So I want to see if this is going to be a failed break. We'll give it a couple of minutes to calm down there. While going back over to Lucid. Now, Lucid, oh boy. I typed NY. You know what happens when I type NY first. Ignore all these dark pool wicks. That's obviously absurd. It's fugazi. But it broke back above 42, rejected the break, so I reloaded. You know, that's what we do. I'm going to make sure I get back in the bid to see if I can't scalp it out. This was a trade on Monday where it was like in and out multiple times off that 42 level when it popped up. This time I'm looking for it on the way down. Oh, come on. I'm sitting right here at 41.65. Anyways, I'll see if I can't get on the bid there. Roku was the other name that we're in. I should hit a key for this one. I will power it up for Roku as that did not load for you guys. So the consolidation off of that 42. First leg out in front of 38 there, so bag a couple of dollars. Now I'm thinking back to 35. If it bounces off of this consolidation level, previous high 35, 35.40 we talked about in the pre-market, I'm actually going to give myself some of a chance for this to continue to 30 to 32. If it breaks 35 clean and there's momentum to the downside and the market's still looking weak, I will simply just pull a bid and then put a trailing stop in if 35 goes. So Roku's starting to work out for us here. Lucid Reload already took some profit on as well. About the only thing that stinks is getting wicked out of that Lex trade. But you know what? I'm not rushing to get back into this because I may have made that top wick, but it's not exactly rejecting this too hard. So at this point, if I short this again, it's got to be off of 650 or the high of the day. So that looking like it has a decent chance to go again, despite the fact it had that bit of a wick top there.
All right, so look what happened on SoFi, man. I mean, we'll go bang for this one because finally, I mean, this is what we should be doing every single day. Pick the best stocks, try to find levels, and then just hammer them. And I mean, look at this SoFi. We talked about sitting down here, you know, finding some nice plays. There's AMC starting to go again. We did get that bid finally, so we're gonna have to get out of some of these now to make sure that we get this win. Oh, like, look at this. I go over to them and I can't even get out. There it is, nice. So there's that bid that we tried. Remember I told you we tried to get a 30 bid? Well, it just dipped down. I left it there. It just dipped down, filled us in, and fudge, and then it rips back. So, you know, without even trying there, it was at 38, and I started talking about it, and the best fill I got was 27. So hopefully that'll keep going to the upside. We do as well, man, pick a bottom, hopefully, knock on wood here, with Ford. Maybe this can be a bottom that we just picked right there, down near 75 again. We did get wicked out. We talked about that. Down to the downside, but there it is, a couple outs here. Yes, 86, 87, go for it. We're making a hell of a lot of money back on this name as we go. We're making money back on AMC. AMC just ticked us out again, 35. Yes, sir. Finally, man, this is a good day. Turning around for us big time. SoFi, 30 cents in the money right now. Ford, 6 cents in the money, whatever. DraftKings, we just reloaded that one. So where's my reload key? My favorite one. We're reloaded. Okay. We have this short right now. This is a serious position. We got out of half right there. Now we have a hell of a lot more shares. You can see our average price, 31.78. So let's just manage these positions, guys, before they get a little carried away.
And just AEL breaking out a little bit here through the pre-market high of the day. Did miss the break initially. I tried the dip buy. It never came to my price. I'm going to sit in front of that 83.50 and see if we can't. There we go. Actually, just got to fill. So 18.35 on the breakout here in American Airlines. We like this one over CCL just based on the chart formation. Going to cover some in front of this level on the daily. That's 18.70, and then see if it's all systems go to go even further. We're sending you to Miss V at the big screen. She's got a name for us.
Hey Neil, AMD spiked to the upside at the open, now up more than 1%. Do you guys see any opportunities in AMD today for yourself?
Advanced Micro, we always find opportunities in that one, but not today for some reason. Let's have a quick look at AMD. I love this name. We're trying to buy dips in this. We were trading this yesterday as well. Thank you, Miss V, for bringing this to set attention. AMD right now, yeah, 145. I mean, it's just a matter of what you think on the NASDAQ. Look at this dip down again. These are these trades that we need to be making. I will talk about this, honestly, but I have to go back to some of these other trades that I have on board right now. DraftKings, we just took a bid there at 69. So let's, I mean, we're short at 81 right now, so it's not going to be a huge trade, but, well, it is going to be, hopefully, but if we can get some bids down here into the 50s, that's where we're looking right now for AMD. 50 cents in the money for Apple, we'll see. I don't know if it's going to continue to work or not. I like it, especially if the market blows up to the upside, of course. And then there's AMC. We've taken some money back and made some nice money on this one, and there goes Ford again, right to 85. So, yeah, we're doing pretty good now. We've really, really weathered the storm now on a lot of these names. but still back to the upside. Roku breaking through 240 there. That's going to be a good name. And I will have another look at AMD. Dare still hovering around 240, right? That's not.
Yeah, it's not doing a heck of a lot. I'll do this for Lucid because this 42 level is almost exactly like Monday, except it's just a bit different. It was a different direction. It had to pop into 42. This time it broke down to be a short off of 42. But again, just scalping it over and over again, holding on for the bigger win. If it sustains a bit above that price, fair enough. We'll have to get out of it. But as long as we can keep going back to this well, we'll be pretty happy. Roku, so he hits that first out. It's still putting in a bit of a lower high. But you're watching it, again, these are all Fugates. These dark pool prints down here to 36. Your real low on this move is right around where I was filled at 39, guys. So there is still a top-end consolidation happening on Roku, but it's a lower high. So the momentum trying to pull it back into the downside. Brendo, what do you got for us?
Just checking on ISIG again. I feel like that's been at least 10 minutes, but we'll double check. UAL starting to go here. We were talking about some of the airlines showing some strength. Coming into the open there, just broke 45, guys, for UAL on volume.
And from UAL to, I almost did it. I almost hit the plane crash of money, which I'm never do. I'm never hitting that particular key when discussing the airlines. But that 35 was a breakout the high of the day. I didn't get it. Was able to pop on the bid just in front, get 35s instead of 30s. Out at 45. It just broke 50. I'll get out at 55. Remember what is looming here, and this is this high at 65, which we also like a potential break. So I do want to make sure I'm covering this long as we get into that top end of the range. It sets you up for a break of that high. It sets you up for a dip buy. So lots of ways we can start playing about with this. Dare, which I think under Sean was just mentioning, it got down to 25. Now coming right back up to this 250. Don't want 250 to go. I think I want to be out at 250, allow that to break higher, and then start thinking about that 275 level. Bit of a reversal happening in Dare. And Mark the Realtor, thank you for the super chat. Netflix to the moon and breakout coming in context logic?
Made you look. No, I don't know. Maybe they did. I don't know. But we'll see about that. There goes Apple. Let's go. Let's floss this baby off right now as AAPL come at the king and get punched in the face. Apparently, that's what LeBron James does to people. But here you go. Up to 173.30. A nice move right here, man. Apple, yes, sir. This is the long that we wanted. And hells to the yeah on Ford. Finally, Ford. Thank you so much. Come again, and we'll get some more out here. This was, again, an absolutely abject disaster flush down there. I'm really going to start putting my real positions on, man, like around this time. I can't just sit here and continue to take some
ISIG's halting again.
ISIG halting. Okay, do you have that up? I don't have that.
I got it up. It's halting 1689. It's about to halt to the upside. Second up halt on ISIG through Monday's top, guys. So now up 63%. This is a $7 move from the bottom here. Should be a 5 or 10 minute halt. We'll see what happens. Was that Brendan?
I think so.
Just saw Microvision pop up. Remember on ISIG, guys, 1 million free float on that. So yeah, could be one of those today. Microvision, MVIS just popping up there on a huge volume spike to, I guess, yesterday's high for MVIS.
So I kind of say LOL there in the chat as I say not leaving AMC because unfortunately I did put this order out there and it's fine because thank God we got, there it is. Thank you. Nice trade there for me on AMC. We just got 70s there off of a 30 long. That's a 70-cent winner. So for me, that's a good trade there on AMC. Still ripping higher. Yes, sir. So this was a good call, man. Wow. Yes, sir. Wow. Look at this candle. We just got elevated, boy. Yes, sir. There goes AMC. Congratulations. I'm going to spin it one more. I have no choice now to spin this one. As AMC taking off, as is my boy Ford. You my boy Blue right now. As Ford just continues to rip upside. Wow, good 20-cent winner on this name as well. Holy, this has been a good turnaround day for your boy here as we continue to go higher and higher here in the market. And that's back to positive. And there goes Ford. There goes AMC, 90 cents in the money. There goes SoFi. Unfortunately, we will put in the gates of hell, and we always do this with this name. We were able to take some money out. So, in and out. In and out. We did try one more time at 32.05. It does break higher. We're going to be wrong on DraftKings. It looks like today that name wants to continue to go higher. So it looks like not a big mistake, but a mistake on DraftKings and infinitely more positivity on a lot of these other names. Wow, Ford, Ford just took out 20 right there. I don't know, Neil, if you're still looking at Lucid and things like that. I know you were on
Lucid's right back at 42.
Right,
I'm down to the last leg on Lucid. We've taken profit several times at the bottom. I want to go to American Airlines here because remember that 1865 going back into yesterday's top. Well, the long takes you right into that price. I get all of it out, like I said I wanted to do. 65 can be its own breakout on the higher time frame. Dip buy sets you back up into 1835. So I'll go long one way or the other, whether it's retaking this high, or maybe we do get that dip buy opportunity down around that 1830 level. ISIG is still halted, by the way, so I mean there's not really too much to see here, and it is fresh highs. Like it did break out that top. It should be in about 2 minutes. I'm going to be looking at if it opens higher, which right now it's indicating it's going to open at $17.50. I'm looking at $20 even as the only place I would remotely even think about stepping in front of it. Remember how small that float is. Eventually when it comes down, it's going to drop like $5, something like that, but you don't necessarily want to be in too early. If you are, you're going to get crushed. Brendo?
Here's another one. Roku, guys, back to day highs. Just had another volume alert there at day highs for Roku after that YouTube announcement, if you missed it in the pre-market.
Yeah, don't miss that announcement for show because that's a big mover right there. We did go re-short DraftKings in front of 32.50, so we'll see if that play can come through. And I just want to bring this to everyone's attention. We are almost out of Ford right now. Why? Look at this. There's a big size here. There's about 100,000 shares at 20 even, so that's starting to create some pressure here on Ford. So I'm actually going to take another piece out if I can get it here there it is, 94 and 95. They're double outs there on Ford, and then we'll try to ring the register back above 20, but right now we're pretty light on it. We have 16% of the shares. You can maybe figure out the default there, which I have left 16%, so easy to calculate. Just a random amount left. We were getting touched up here at 02 and 03, so some of those prices are like half fills there. So we'll wait for that as it's starting to go. AMC, we didn't take enough advantage of that spike, but I was glad to watch it with you all the way up here, and we're going to see if we can let this thing go. If it comes all the way back in, it comes all the way back in. We did empty out some here at VWAP, then again at 50, then again at 75. So we missed that ultimate top. Wow, what a great spike that was there on AMC. Let's do it again. Hopefully we can do it again, AMC. I dare you. I don't dare you because I'm long, so hopefully this does happen. And then look at this, another mistake. We were watching it. We said come at the king and get punched in the face. Well, that's exactly what we wound up doing there because it went right to pre-market highs again and then said thank you and basically brought us back down to flat now. So not good movement here on that trade, but we're happy so far.
Before we go to Brendan here,
yeah, sure.
I know we just got a call for Brendan. I want to go back. I haven't talked about Pfizer. It was a pop and fade off of 53 at the open. It's now trading down. The market tried to come back here. Pfizer testing 51.25, so it's heading towards the pre-market lows. That target of $50 is going to come in. I got to be flat in front of it if I like the bid to go long. So Pfizer falling a lot. We're now negative. Sorry, I'm not negative on it, but Pfizer is now negative on the day. So the old sell the news for the vaccine names comes once again. Brendan?
Yeah, there's Pfizer. Here's BioNTech. Their partner also, 3% after being positive nicely there in the pre-market. There's a call happening right now, apparently. They're talking about this announcement this morning. They initially said 2.8 billion capacity as far as production is concerned next year. They're now saying 4 billion capacity is potential production capacity for next year for BioNTech. But as Neil was saying, selling the news, guys.
It's honestly, it's just, you sometimes see these patterns, and a lot of times I'd be playing this on, and it's like Moderna is usually the name. Pfizer has just been a momentum stock recently. It's not always that, but it usually is. You're going to notice a pattern here. So every time, and again, these wicks aren't really true. I can tell you the high here at about 945 or so on Lucid was right at 42.15. When it failed that price, I got short. It then just failed here at 42.40. So you're kind of seeing a trend to the upside. I'm not going to short this one again. Forget about it. If it breaks 50, I think it's going to be a bit of a potential breakout through this previous support level. So I was just able to get another scalp trade for 40 cents. There usually was getting 40 to 60. We're going to keep doing that. But once 42.50 goes, I'm going to be all out of Lucid. Just went over Pfizer. That dare is not doing a heck of a lot. I'll tell you right now, it's in the money, but if it breaks that 250 back to the upside, that could be a reversal. ISIG opens up, makes a high at 1850, now looking like it wants to come back down here. So no crazy spike to $20 just yet, but it also has not yet capitulated. If it gets back below that halt price, 1689 or 1690 or whatever it was here, it could absolutely flush. I don't know that I want to chase it. It's got to be, selling off a crazier top than that.
So there it is again, man. We'll just we'll punch it out again because there's Apple. We bought the 50, we bought 49s there, and we just took it out 70s. So darn, here it goes again. So it's going to look like my average price. There's my average price, 49 now. So we've been running Apple here all morning. That's going to been a good trade for us. We try not to ignore this 173.50 if it comes back there. I think we'll just put an offer and get out. But I mean, I've made that mistake before, and it's cost. Good look for me on whatever this name is, Ford here, as you know, we talked about there. I just took some out at 90 again. I have another offer at 93. We talked about that giving up the ghost a little bit there at O's, and that is what happened. So I'm really glad. I'm not even worried about this stock as we go now. And we are seeking a little bit of revenge. So we'll go Mamma Mia as Neil's back. We haven't hit the pizza yet today. We didn't even hit it yesterday. Here it comes. Come on, DraftKings. Let's go back to the downside. We are short now, 32.40. We just took a 10 bid. I'm waiting at 32. I believe 03 or so. I'm going to cancel my 31 bid actually. Well, there it is. Did I just get filled? I should have. Yes, I did. So there it is. So it runs through 03. We take that bid right there. DraftKings putting it back into a positive spot for me right now as we are short now 40 cents in the money on that one. And we just got another fill. Yes, sir. We got a Ford fill there. Ford at 95 actually. Sorry, 94 fill there on for 93 fill on Ford as we're up to 95 right now. AMC still not leaving, I guess, but not really going up anymore either. SoFi, we've already gotten in and out of this one. SoFi is actually my number one. Well, pending Apple, so far my number one trade today because we got this bottom wick there. I mean, it's looking at the right names and defending the right levels. We talked about it on our sticky note, look to defend the 1620 area, and we got long at 1630. So there it is right there again. So really, really happy with the performance today. So far, so good here. Just a couple mistakes early that wind up costing us an AMC bottom wick, which is unbelievable. That's going to happen to me and Neil, all of us. If you're a trader, that happens to you. So you kind of just try to move on from that. And then the same thing on Ford. But the thing about Ford is I got right back in. So I actually got a better price. I got out at 78 and got back in at 78. So I actually got the same price there. So that was okay, but still a loss that did not need to happen.
And here comes that ISIG heading towards 20 in rapid fashion here, guys. So it looks like it's about to try to halt at 75. If it fails a halt at 75, oh, did it? Oh my goodness. Oh no. Yeah, it did. So it failed a halt at 75. That's going to be all systems go for me. So I'm in it for the first time here. For the first time since it opened. The pre-market, we had that one trade. I've got 19.50 essentially short. My stop is set at $20. If it breaks that high, now that it's consolidated, that band is going to be higher. So if it breaks $20, I'm going to risk 50 cents plus slippage. Otherwise, I think this could drop multiple dollars. So again, I don't want to give it too much room here. I find an area where I think there's going to be liquidity. And as it turns out, it looks like there is going to be here. But I'm not going to go to the grave with this thing. If it breaks 20, I'm out. I don't even want to be bidding until it goes at least $1 in the money, like $18.50, and then start thinking about like $17 to the downside. But here comes ISIG. Got to be patient with these. 1 million float is nothing, literally nothing. It's done 13 times that.
Yeah, we should have looked at, I mean, I know we were looking at that one in the pre-market, ISIG, and I guess you got to pay for shorts probably, right? Up to $20 right now. I think, wasn't this 12? Yes, it was. I mean, some of these breaks there, as soon as Brendan and you mentioned that this thing had a 1.3 million share float, like if that doesn't light your eyes up, honestly, like, you got to, if you're looking at these types of trades, right? Play them, hit it good. Thank you so much. I really like your name. Sean, thank you so much. Thoughts on Matic? Hell yeah, Matic, spin it. This is one of the better ones for me as far as crypto is concerned, man. Okay, we'll look at a chart when we get back, but I don't really have any outs, man, on crypto. I think you're either liking the name, Sean, or you're not. And I mean, Matic, for me, is an NFT play. Matic is one of the only, I mean, as long as we're talking about the same thing here, it's Polygon. So Matic is one that I hold. You can see what it's been doing, up 35%. It's actually a name that I've been dipping into, up 35%. I like the NFT angle there. I actually have a number one serial on Top Shot that I'm pretty happy about. So there it is, Polygon Matic, 35.5%. I like that. Look at the bloodbath that's been crypto here. Bitcoin in 7 days, down 10%. Ethereum down 1%. Cardano down that same 10%. Ripple, everything getting basically, I was going to say destroyed, but in crypto land, we can absorb this. Look at Litecoin, 21% down, but look at Matic, 35. So yeah, I think your money's in the right name there, Sean. I like your name and your money's in the right name. So far so good. Crypto coin down 10% today. Ooh, lots to look at, man. I may pick up this Litecoin down 21% in a week. Let's go over to Brendan, who holds all of the power over there at the big screen. What's happening now?
actually not holding anything today because we're having a network issue, guys, so I can't show you much other than this. So S&P 500 basically flat. The Dow 0.1 to the upside. The Russell positive, but only just. The NASDAQ chopping around as well, about 0.25% to the downside currently. As we said in the pre-market, after the past couple of days, we'll take positive numbers right across the board. A couple of things we were talking about in the pre-market, not really doing anything either. Tesla open, tests higher, tests lower. It's kind of chopping around within its range. Stitch Fix as well did go lower, but still kind of holding around some levels from the pre-market. Guys, back to you.
So thank you, Brendan. We'll do this one. So ISIG, while all the craziness was happening, got a couple of legs out there at 18 for about $1.50, $1.25, $1.50 there. And if it takes out the high, I'm like, the plan has not changed. Just because I've taken some off for profit doesn't mean I'm giving it a wider stop. It breaks 20, I'm out. My other bid is now in front of that halt price at $17. So I'll look for a couple of bucks on the rest of this trade. While all this was happening, this is always going to be a bit of a problem, and it is what it is. Like, you trade too many names, this will happen to you. I know what happened to me here. Lucid breaks 42.50, so that's a reversal for me. I did not reverse on Monday. Arun did on Lucid. Today I'm going to do so. I said 240 to 245 was the target area for the short on Roku. That is not a 245 break. It did not break 245. This is 245 up here. So I misplaced my stop. I'm like, oh, I must have broken 45. I'm out of it. And then, of course, I noticed that it did not. So Lucid was still valid, and it's going to work, but it's going to do so without me because I misplaced my stop. I did not get through 245. And now it's flushing. Now it's at 235. So this obviously would have been a nice winner. I hope somebody still has it, but 45 never broke. 244.94 is the high of the day. That's a bit pie in my face, obviously. ISIG starting to calm down. AAL, which I thought was going to be like, could get out in front of that 65 top, wait for the 65 break. It has now spent 15 minutes consolidating in front of that 65. So I still like it for the breakout, but remember, there could be a bit of a dip buy opportunity at that previous breakout price as well. So that's the other way I'd like to go long again in AAL. Hopefully we get one or the other, and it doesn't just sit here in a 20-cent range for the rest of the day, because that would be kind of boring.
I'm just typing out right here, learning lessons here today about Apple, as Apple goes right now 85 cents in the money, right? And I think you got to sort of do this sometimes. And yesterday we were short Apple, waiting for that. Today we wait for the dips and we go long. And now it's an absolute crush fest here as we are still long, taking out the day's high. And there it is, man. Yes, sir. Let's just hit Canada. What's up, Canada, for everybody here. Let's keep that real. Ford going as well. Look at DraftKings. F you, DraftKings, as you're starting to rain down some cash right now on you. This did take us, I mean, thank God we're able to get out here, out for some wins. And then we did take that, was it 40-cent loss there? And now we're in the money, now 60 cents, as it's coming back into the downside. So I have a target down here. My bid is actually in the 31.30s. So as we come down here, this is where I think we're going to wind up here for DraftKings. So that's going to be a good trade. This is going to just look messy, and I have shares here, right? So that's why all of these outs just keep on popping through. We're taking a bunch here at VWAP, 96.97. It's just, when you're trading shares and it falls through, you got to be careful of some of these key levels. It's why we got punched out there. But again, noticing some of these wicks, these are the kind of wicks that I love to see and then go long off of. So like I said, we're learning lessons. We're getting better at this. Even with 22 years, 21, 20 years experience here, we're still learning something new every single day. And I think Apple's a perfect example of that. Buy these dips, man. When they start to fade out, even though you're up and the market's down, pick the strong names. This is not a lesson that I'm learning. This is just something that, we like to talk about here on the show, right? Play the strong hand if you can. 174, is that all-time high for Apple, or did we get to, we've already crossed through. All-time high is every print now. So every print higher is a new all-time high. So 174 may be a good spot there to get out. AMC also $1 in the money.
Yeah, you're just going to go, Roku's tanking. I can see it. I'm kind of mad at myself there. Someone was asking in the chat, I'm going to let you guys know, if you use maple syrup someone was saying, how much maple syrup do you Canadians put in your coffee? Don't put too much if it's the real stuff, because it is sweet, super, super sweet. So just a nice little dab is absolutely perfect. This Dare, this is going to definitely be a reversal style play. If we get a volume spike here through 250, it's only given you from 250 down to this like 25, 30 mark. And it's given it to you, only really the 2 times at the open. And then it looks like it's trying to grind back higher. ISIG just made another attempt at the high. Lower high, 1925, so it doesn't even get to that 1950 price again. So this could be where it starts to flush. If it puts in a lower high flush, what I want to do is back my bid off, get it a little bit closer into VWAP, because if it falls from here, I think it falls a little bit further to the downside, so I want to take more profit on it. But it's still $20. Cannot let this break $20. That'd be suicide. Brendo.
There's a Citron tweet, guys, on Jumia, Jmia. Didn't they say they were only going to tweet? Yeah, they are. Insider buying could stock go to 22. So $22 for JMIA, according to Citron.
Jumia to the upside. I mean, look, yeah, I guess like they like the longs now. It is what it is. They got to do their own thing, and more power to them. So Roku continues to flush. It's still at that 35 mark, obviously, but you know, as I said before, and I might not still be in this one, having sort of misplaced my stop, but the target I would have had in, and I said this, was like 230 to this 232 area, just right where it pulled back into after the news announcement, right? So not a heck of a lot to go off of, other than just that in particular. One name that we said was a bit of a trade that I wasn't that interested in. As the market starts to come back down, Tesla did break the low of the day once. It then snapped right back, failed to break out at 1050. Ignore all these. There's a lot of dark pool wicks on my charts today. It's like a dark pool fest for whatever reason. I have no idea what that means. But Tesla's still in the range from yesterday. It has not really broken that bottom. So I'm still looking at 1025 as your potential support on Tesla. Unless you're scalp trading, there's not a heck of a lot going on here. I know it's moving like $10, $15, but you know, once it's outside of the range, I think it gets a little bit more interesting.
All right, we're trying not to leave on AMC, and it looks like it's trying to go back upside. So we do have obviously a 90-cent winner right now, like 90 cents. So we'll punch that one out. Again, you know, embarrassing that happened, but at least we got some back here as $30, decent spot there. Boom, back up to the upside. There goes Apple. So the only thing about Apple here is I do have a 173.90 or so offer here to see if it can go upside. So I don't know, man. I don't want to dump this, but at the same time, I'm thinking that we've touched out high here already. This is already all-time highs on Apple. As I just mentioned to you, every tick higher is a new high. We're already long Ford, SoFi, AMC. We are short Donkey Kong here. So let's let this try to work. I did want to give a big shout out here, and I thought this was pretty creative, man. To that health guy, hopefully you're watching right now. I'm not sure of your name, but that health guy here, his sticky note, dips and pull-ups. Although it kind of looks like that's really, really neat writing there. Congratulations if you did 200 pull-ups this morning and 200 dips. I mean, absolutely fantastic for you. And yeah, get your sticky notes correct, man. That's for damn sure, no matter which thing it is. Obviously, mental and physical health, very important, as is the health of said checkbooks. And today, we're doing pretty good. We'll hit the cowbell here as AMC trying to go up to the $31. So a nice move here. He bought the dips. That's funny. That's a great one, actually. Yeah, he did buy the dips there. Good one there, Junin here, Junin. Thank you. That was funny. He bought the dips. So that's right. Trading is way too stressful. Yeah, you're right, Jackie. Trading is way too damn stressful, which is why we're being forced to take days off, unfortunately. But that's okay.
The key to reducing the stress of your trading is always have a plan. I know we talk about this all the time, but if you have a plan of action, it sort of allows you to implement, use hopefully muscle memory, and then, you know, it's just that kind of a thing where you're not sitting there.
Fast and easy.
Yeah, I know it's moving pretty fast, but and to that extent, like obviously I messed up that Roku trade a little bit, but the idea here is Dare just broke 250, so now reversed to the long. And again, I already knew this was going to happen. Like I just talked about 250. I'm not reloading in front of that price range. I know I got that at the open when it reloaded that price. I said if that goes, I want to reverse into the long trade. So it's not unexpected. Like you kind of see that coming in advance, and then you try to just execute your plan from there. Speaking of some names that we didn't look at, I know you're watching AMC, and another one that's reporting today, and more dark pool wicks, is GameStop. Hovering at the low end of the range. So it actually had a failed breakout at the open. I kind of said this was a trap. 180 was a trap, breaking at the high. What a trap it was. It should have been a rollover short for me. I did not put that one on. Looking at some other names at the time, which is probably a bit of a mistake. But the bottom end here, it's holding out this, I guess it's a wipeout bottom from yesterday. I know this crazy wick here at 167, but it looks like the real bottom is 170. So 170 support still looming for GameStop. On earnings day, Lucid, which I did not reverse to the long on Monday off of this level at 42. Obviously, I should have. This time I have. I want to get out in front of 43.40, which is 43.50, sorry, which is the high of the day, and then see if I like that breakout still through 43.50 for the top end of that range there. So I have reversed it. I'm looking for a much more shallow win here, only 75 to 80 cents, maybe 90 at tops.
All right. Wow. We're just sitting here. I was trying to look at some crypto. I was trading a little bit of ETHE here, but nothing happened. I just took back-to-back losses there, trying to short through 42. It's making a nice move up. ETHE on the pink sheet. Shout out to Jeff Mendel. Comes through all the time on the show, so we'll give him some love there on that name. There goes Apple. I'd cancel my offer. I don't know. We're up here. This is a monster win for me, man. And again, thank you. And we talked about Twitter just 2 seconds ago, but I did want to just say, we talked about stress and having a plan. It's literally why I do this, for you guys. No shorting today. Just look long, right? Like, look at this move. It's monstrous today. It's absolutely monstrous. We talked about getting that forward. We talked about buying dips here in SoFi. We talked about shorting DraftKings, which didn't work, but we got a nice short on now. And then AMC, man, never leaving. Let's buy everything we can. And all of these names just continue to work for me here today. As Apple's at the day's high. We talked about going long on that one. We talked about buying everything. Yes, sir. Let's go AMC. We're smoking on this one, man. AMC right to the high side right now as well. Obviously, we have that wick there. I mean, as a trader, I got to continue to make those moves, but a nice move to the upside right there on that. And then there's another name that we talked about here, SoFi, man. A nice move here on SoFi. We got that dip, got it out all here, and now we're holding 10% of that trade as well. So far, so good, man. We are very, very happy with today's trading. I hope you guys are as well. I'm going to do a quick like count, because then we can get maybe Miss V on this as well. It's 10:14. We had 1,500 likes at 9:40. Or 840 when I did that last like thing. We've only got 600 more. Over 6,400 people watching right now, 2,000 likes. Let's see if we can get that to 2,500 ASAP. Look, I'm even bringing you right now, Valeria. It's what you want. You get it. Give us what we want. Let's get this to 3K. What's up, Ms. V?
Hey, Sean, and hey, team, I'm so proud of you. We've got 2,000 likes before 10:30. Thank you so much for your support. And let's break the record. Let's push them to 3,000. I believe the same period of the year, a year ago, we used to get 5,000 likes. We have 6,000 viewers. So please, let's do our best and make this day phenomenal on the like side. Likes to the upside, and I hope you're having a great day. Back to you, Sean.
All right. That would get me to hit that like button. There it is, 2.4 right now. Thank you so much. A nice little 20% bump in likes right there. Thank you so much for all of that. Meanwhile, I feel like Colbert here. Meanwhile, we go all the way to 31.50 now on AMC. So there it goes upside, man. Good trade here on AMC. Really loving that win. Also up to $90. We talked about loving that name as well. So lots of things working here today. Roku, Neil, back to 237.
Yeah, I mean, that short should have held on to it, obviously. Lucid here, I did just get out. It wicked up. This is not real, by the way. It never got to 43.50. It wicked up to 43 in a monster move from that 42 half breakout. This is that lower high that it put in the pre-market. So once it had a parabolic move in there, I'm just going to take the profit. I was really liking the idea of it going to 43.25, but it accelerated entirely too much. Looks like we have a structure for the dare trade now, so it breaks that 42.50, so I'm like reversal of momentum here. I want to only give it back to this cluster just below that 39 to 40 range. I don't want to be giving back the shorts that we had this morning, but at the same time, I want to give it an opportunity that if it barcodes from here, I'm only risking about 10 to 15 cents, and I don't want to even lose the 15-cent half of it. Pfizer, I know we talked about this one earlier on, and I wanted to get a dip buy in front of 50. The rollover short has come and gone. 51 obviously was a pretty good out because you're now seeing it barcode off 51. If it makes another leg to the downside, I'm going to quickly do an Arun thing here. Like I'm going to come to the futures. Just looking at the ES, if it makes another leg to the downside, it's likely the ES is breaking this level here at 46.80. So I was just going to bid in front of 50 no matter what on Pfizer. But if we break this level on the ES and go negative, I'll have to see it consolidate somewhere in the futures before I would just automatically buy Pfizer in front of 50. Like I don't want to get caught in an absolute trap. So just a bit of a reversal from where I said the dip buy would be on Pfizer. Again, don't want to be giving away that money that you would have made if you had that short on by just kind of blindly going long if it's a falling knife that you're catching in the overall market. So that's, again, just planning ahead. Pfizer is nowhere near that $50, 51 holding for now.
Yep. Okay. So AMC. Ooh, I just realized we actually went long there. It looks like by accident through 31.30. That was, again, clean up your stop orders, man. We don't really want that one long, but it looks like we are now long AMC. So we're going to clean that up and basically just got out there at 31.30. So a nice win for us here. I call it a win, but it's a nice trade on AMC. But now it looks like it's trying to make a move back down. We'll watch out. That's at 31.30, that high. We don't necessarily want to be long here. So we're going to empty out a few of these and just hold a little bit. What's up, Brendan?
Just looking at NVEI in a second here. Just saw UAL, guys. Yeah, all the travel names. UAL, CCL, AAL, all just popping up on volume there as well. Here's NVEI on the NASDAQ getting absolutely destroyed today. 50% to the downside. Spruce Point Capital coming out with a report on Nuvei, guys.
Yeah, that's a name that I see Goldman on here. We are long that name. I did get out some of that name at 170 on the Canadian side, and then again at I'm not going to even look at it right now. I'll look at it in the afternoon show because I don't know enough about that report. But Nuvei there, big time movement down. NVEI.
Yeah, finally AAL. It's about time, man. I was sort of sitting here like, is this actually going to move? The market tried to get back into the upside. I'm like waiting for the breakout on American Airlines. There it goes to 1865. So it was one break at the pre-market high of the day. There's a 15-minute. Then let me zoom it out a little bit here for you guys to see. Now this is the break that we kind of were looking at all throughout the pre-market. Yesterday's top, I like the room that this has to run. Obviously $19 is going to stand out here. Previous support, 19 even is just a thing. So I'll be covering some on the way to 19 and then looking from there about to 1950 ultimately. Could we be in this one for the greater portion of the day? I'd like to hope so, especially as the ES is now trying to hold above that even mark here in the session back and forth. If it stays in the green, I think AAL's got a fantastic opportunity to extend these gains. So finally got the breakout. We had one good trade on AAL. Let's try to make it two here. That ISIG, I did not anticipate, like it's kind of crazy. Like usually in these names, you're in and out very, very quickly. I did not anticipate that after shorting in front of 20 that I would still be in the stock. It's like it either breaks you, takes the top, and you're stopped out, or it falls like a rock in a VWAP. It's doing literally neither one of those two things. So it's barcoding, it's setting up to go. Either direction it breaks. It either breaks 20 and has the craziest failed break of all time and pops down to VWAP, or halts to the upside. And the other side of that is it drops like a rock and hits me at 17. I think trading inside here and trying to scalp, if you're doing that, I think it is an incredibly bad idea. Like you were seriously, like you're either trading this for like a $2 move from here, and willing to risk a decent, like 50 cents to $1, or just sit it out. Because I know it looks like you could be just sitting here making 50 to 70 cents, long in front of 18 and short in front of 19. I wouldn't do it. When you lose on that, you're going to get slipped. It's just way too volatile for that. So I am in this, but a hard stop at 20 even. I'm surprised it's still just sitting here doing nothing. AAL now up to, I'm looking at the wrong stock. AAL now up and through 1875. My first offers, and it's at 1890. I should probably put something around 1885 actually to take some profit here.
Okay, yeah, so all good. And I just canceled my Apple again. I was literally waiting right here at 95, and I canceled it. So I don't know. Looks like the NASDAQ wants to continue to work, man. And I think we got to stay long Apple, as every single print is a new all-time high. Like, if you're not into this one, see you later. Like, I don't know where you're going to buy this. Apple continues to be the best name ever. And we talked about that over and over again, man. Like, as long as you bought this name every single time the market crashed, you are just absolutely loving life right now as Apple just continues to work, man, in every environment, it seems like. So I've been reading like this is an inflation killer. This is like, protect your gains, go buy Apple. Like, want tech, buy Apple. Like, everything is Apple. So we definitely like that. And as you can see, I'm not even, like, I have a Pixel. I could have got an Apple. I got the wife the 13 Pro, but whatever. I just, once you're there, man. And Apple, that stock is super strong. I hold more Google shares than I do Apple, so let's just keep it real with that. But there goes SoFi all the way back. The missed opportunity was the rebuy. We should have been. Okay, I'm reloaded. But we did not. We just got reloaded down there one time on that. Ford, we are getting some out here again as it broke through 88, 89s. We did touch VWAP one more time. I think we'll put another offer there, and then we'll let the rest ride. If you take out 20 again, fine. We will actually, you know what? Forget it. Let's just cancel. Actually, I'll leave my 2010 order in there for Apple and see if we can get filled on that. So that's something that we're waiting for, that 2010 offer on Ford. We won't do anything until then. Apple continues to make moves. AMC, again, again, 31.50. That's a pretty high spot there for this name. Yesterday we got as high as 31.70. So we'll see if we can put an offer around here and take that out. But AMC, man, a good trade for us today. Unfortunately, we did have that wick, but yeah, made that back right there on the upside. So, you know, so far so good here today. Could always be better, but could always be worse.
Yeah, so the timing of saying that on ISIG, like this, it's obviously a complete fluke. Like I just finished saying it, then it pops up. My stop, like I said, was going to be at $20 the whole time. It breaks out and it halted up, right? So again, if you were trying like let's scalp in front of 18 to like 19, it's just not the way to play this game. If it does open up higher, which it seems like it's going to right now, indicated open at $21 even. The next place I would try the same type of trade is at 25 and then 30. And again, it's just, there's nothing scientific about that. It's looking for an obvious level that people would take profit. And then if it shows some slowness there, that's the only way you can play around with it. Otherwise, you know, forget about it. AAL, I did take some out in front of 80 because it started to slow down at that price. And again, I want to be banking some on the way to 19 even as it starts to go. And because the market started to pump to or push back to the upside here, Pfizer doesn't seem like it wants to get all the way down to 50. At 51 out on the short could end up being this bottom here that we've been looking for in Pfizer. You know, I'll give it one more shot to retest lower, but if it bounces off 51 again, I got to take my long Pfizer a little bit higher than I was looking at earlier. Rivian, which is a name that we usually look at. I know I looked at Tesla and we had the lucid trade there for you guys in both directions. Look at these dark pool wicks, man, like everywhere. Rivian here down at 113. Then look at this hold. This is yesterday in the afternoon, 113. If it holds this higher low, like look at the bottom end of this range here. This is going to set up for all world break at 117.50, it looks like to me. So I'm looking here, this 117.50 for a break. It's got to hold the bottom here at 113. It's not nearly, I mean, the market's going to try to hold up in green territory, but Rivian's been pretty weak. I need to see confirmation and follow buying. I want it turning green on the session and then breaking back out before I got into the long. It is already 10:20. Looks like we're doing the small cap recap at the desk. Is that true? What?
Technical issues continuing, guys. So we'll do this this way. Here's a few that I was looking at this morning. We'll start things off with this DARE, as Neil was saying. This had already come off a long way in the pre-market from where it was initially up there around 310. 260, 250 ends up being significant levels over here. Gives you a quick trade off of the open. Shift over to Lex. This was 610, and then about 640, 650 was the top end of that consolidation from the pre-market. Gave you a really nice retest there at the open. That ends up being a nice trade down to 550, 540. Not really doing much now. Volume dying off quickly. EFOI. Only long and only long on EFOI. This thing was so strong in the pre-market. Teeny tiny little float. Came in and held 350 nicely there. I tried it twice, but second one ends up being a great trade up to 420. So lots of opportunity both directions once again for small caps, guys.
All righty then, AMC, let's go, man. We'll just alley-oop that. Thank you, AMC Apes, for this trade, as it's just going straight to the moon right now. We'll continue to love this trade and get out here. I do have an offer, so 31.60 or so. We'll see if it gets up there, and then we'll take that out. AMC right now, a good trade, man. Apple, $2 in the money, and still new all-time highs. And I want to give a big shout-out to everybody that super chatted today, especially you, Sean. Great name. Like your Kevin Durant here as well. We'll just watch that on Matic. We talked a little bit about crypto. Emily One, you've been here forever. Thank you so much for continuing to support us. And we love bringing smiles and trade ideas to everybody. I mean, that was the whole point of the sticky note anyways. And then William Craig, thank you so much. The man with two first names. We love that. Thank you so much, William, for that. And yeah, great trading today. I hope that a lot of you have taken some of these trades that Neil and I have put on, as they've been pretty good. So as long as you didn't get out, you know, some of the spots that I did, I know you'd be pretty good. Ford trying to get battle back here. DraftKings is an interesting one. I'm debating, I mean, there it goes. It does not break. I'm thinking about going short again here, but the market's pretty resilient. So I'm going to put on a small DraftKings trade. We're going to go short DraftKings now again against that 32.50.
And another mover here, this is not a new one, Longeveron making another push up. It's like every single day Longeveron tries a bit of a pop. And the only time I shorted it was at 26 level. that oddly enough, Arun and I were both looking for a break of 26 even on Monday. Last week, I think it was on Friday. Yeah, that's right. And it never happened. And then since then, it's been a short off that level. I wish I'd done better with it. Looks like it's got a lower high here now in front of 25. So those are the levels to watch. I mean, this is more like 24 and a half, but 24 and a half to 25, and then 26. It was the only two levels I'd try the short off of. I just want to make sure it's not a ridiculous price to pay for the shorts, because we do have to pay for locates on Longeveron. So I'm going to quickly put that in there and see if I can't get a quote. AAL just pulled back a little bit there. So it's going to show two trades for me, obviously, the 1830 long and then the breakout here at that 65. I have not added to it. I'm going to get out more shares. If I see the same offer at 1880, I'll probably just get some more shares out at 78, 79 like we did last time, and then look for a potential reload possibility there. ISIG is continuing to just scream to the upside. Everybody said, like, be very, very careful if you're trading this. The float is tiny. Make sure you have tight stops. Make sure you're trying to enter someplace where you think there's going to be liquidity. That's why I'm looking at $25. Like, I'm not even trying to, if this is the high, who cares about trying to cash that? And I can't go long these once it starts to go this far. Like, this is a $10 close and you're already up at $25. So to me, when the rug gets pulled, I'd rather not be sitting there holding the bag. And anyone that's long from the original breakout, hey, you got to be pretty happy. You got to take profit on the way up, because you never want them to pull a funware on you where they halt it, and instead of opening in 5 or 10 minutes, it opens an hour later when they finally have enough sellers, and that was disgusting, and no one ever wants to get trapped like that. Longeveron is 7 cents a share. Thank you very much. I'll take those.
Yeah, that's an easy one there. 1680, 1690 or so. SoFi still trying to work there. We did take that DraftKings position, and it's not moving. So that's just our newest position right now is going to be DraftKings. Apple coming back in a little bit. I'm debating just taking this 74 out. We held this for long enough. If it comes back in here, the NASDAQ, I'm not worried about the NASDAQ failing. It doesn't look like it's going to. I mean, it's been pretty strong. It's kind of just barcoding right now, but there's Apple. It finally breaks that 174. So I think that that's enough of a reason for me right there to get out of this trade. So we'll put an offer back up right now. If we can get out of this right here at 90 or so, we'll do that on Apple and wait to see. It is trying to, I don't know, man. I mean, I could just offer right now and get out, but there it is anyways. Bang! There it is. Nice one. Spin the money, money, money. So a nice little win there for Apple as it comes up and touches us. That's $1.50 right there. And the number one trade on the sticky note was go long Apple. We held it for as long as we can. Oh, wow, we could hold it for longer, but there it is. We're getting out. You can see the NASDAQ. I mean, it's dropping down here. We saw that happen yesterday. So if anything, maybe it gives us an opportunity for us to reload that Apple short. But there it is, taking out Apple at 174 break. We let that go. So a couple good trades there on the long side. And I don't know, man, if the NASDAQ is going to fail, maybe we should get rid of SoFi as well, as that's 50 cents in the money. So 44 cents in the money right now. So SoFi might be something, but I'm waiting for like more of a 1660, something like that down here to break before we get out of that one. So we'll hold on to some SoFi here. Oh man, I'm going to always look back at this Apple and not like that out, but it is what it is. Apple starting to go back upside. So those dips don't last long here.
Yeah, I mean, certainly there. I just got out of Dare. The sellers are too much. It tested back up to that 250 level where we had the long, and then it broke right back down the bottom end of the range. So I don't want to give away everything we had on the short side of the trade, which was much better off that 250 level. I'm not going to jump back into the short just yet, but it is feeling like it could still be a bit of a bearish stock. As we go back to Brendan, is it?
JMIA, just popping back up here on some volume, guys. I'm keeping my eye on some of these other ones. AUUD, also day lows. JMIA 5% now. Another volume alert there, trying to get back up towards 1420 was day highs on that Citron report, if you remember. Citron positive now on JMIA, saying $22 for the price target. It's 10:30. Miss B has come back to the good lighting spot here to tell you about Europe. Hour left in the session over in Europe. Miss B, what's up?
Hey Brandon, European markets are mixed at this hour. Meal kit delivery, HelloFresh trading in Germany is down more than 9% under an underwhelming outlook for 2022 earnings. Back to you.
Yeah, weird network, internet issue going on here this morning, so we're kind of all over the place, guys.
I hear you. Same thing over here. Like I just noticed too, like even a few things online a little bit slower for us, but powering through, Brendan, as always. That Longeveron here, it just made a lower high, 23-ish, 23 and a half off that 24 level. This is not necessarily where you'd want to be thinking about jumping in way too early. You do have a similar top, but it does feel like it's got some room to this 24.40. I don't like the dip buy because it is still a tight enough failure to that price level here at 24.40 that I think if the seller's getting control, you're going to be out of luck there. Pfizer, we said we'd give it some time to see if it hasn't made a bit of a bottom. There we go. Look back at the 1 minute chart. It's now breaking back above 51.50. So, I said if we don't get that 50 level, if the market tries to turn right back around here, we might have to try Pfizer a little bit higher. It's showing exactly those signs. It's still red on the session, but now that it's broken 51.50, I'm going to pop on the bid in front of 51. If it comes down to like 51.20 or so, it gives me like a 20-cent-ish stop that I'll like. I'm not going to chase it too far, but there's enough buying in here that I now feel pretty comfortable, taking some of the money from the short and rolling into a long trade. Still don't want the market to be crashing on me if it does come in, but I like that long trade a heck of a lot better than I did, 20 or 30 minutes ago. ISIG still above $20 here. Getting a little slow there. Still above 20 bucks. It did not fail 25s. It just came to 24.20 because why wouldn't it turn at that number? It just feels like the market loves that kind of a random thing. But slowing down, finding itself some liquidity. These are usually the points where you want to think about at least entering the stock if you're going to be trading it because it's not essentially halting at this particular point. So if we get another pop, a push in that fails around that same high, then I'd be looking to short it off of that 24.20 top. That's about the only way I want to end this one again. If you like the long trade here, I'd be looking at that previous halt price maybe on a dip, but that's the only thing I'd be playing when it comes to that. Longeveron getting pretty close to wanting an entry. And one other name here, guys, we talked about Rivian a couple of minutes ago. Rivian's starting to pop up a little bit. It's still failing at exactly the same price. 114.50 is a continuous failure. If it breaks out from here, much like Lucid, I think it's got a shot. Like it probably has a shot to get to that 16 or 17 top. It has not been very, very strong, but you're looking at it here. Yeah, I actually just broke here now. See if I can get some shares on this 114.50. We're going to send you guys to Brendan as I try to get this Rivian long.
Photronics in the semiconductor group reported earnings, a little one, but better than expected results here for PLAB, up 20%. Just had a day high alert there for PLAB, guys.
Should have just punched long. Anyways, I'm not going to chase Rivian there. It actually just broke, went through 115, went to 115.20 there. So might have missed that potential breakout. I'll let it calm down. What you want is that momentum so you can get in, you can scalp some out. But once it doesn't give me that trade, I'd rather sit back here in front of VWAP and give myself a shot there. Kind of like what I'm doing with Pfizer.
Yeah, no, I'm still looking at the same type of thing here with some of the trades that I'm dealing with, and that's going to be AMC important right now for me because it just dipped down and I missed that. I was actually sitting and I'm just trying to figure out the right pricing here on a lot of these trades. We were sitting at 31 flat there. It went to 31.10 on that name. So we're gonna have to, maybe get a little bit better on our picks here. It went right down to that same level in the pre-market. So that's why I'm a little bit should have put my order there. Now it's starting to rip up higher. I still have this offer at 31.60, man. If we can ring that register, I think it's wise to do that here. Apple, we got out. That's sort of still hovering around, not doing a whole hell of a lot. We could take a quick look at the crypto minute here, although that's gonna be coming up soon with Brendan. If this loads, we'll do that. We'll check back on that there again. Yeah, that Coinbase. Yeah, like you were saying, we were thought.
My Binance chart, like I kept trying to look. I usually I'm looking at spot prices, but I use Binance and I can't really. I'm having trouble loading it myself. But last I checked, we were at 51. Apologies. Someone asked about Stitch Fix. I wanted to get to it here. I only wanted to fade off of $20. It made a wipeout bottom and is now breaking out back towards that $20 level. It's just. It's not moving nearly as rapidly as I would have anticipated. Given how far it's down and the fact it's made a bit of a double bottom at the open, you think it'd be screaming into 20 bucks here, but kind of a slow grind up to 20. It's getting close to that price now, so it's on the radar. There's just not a heck of a lot happening with it. Otherwise, I'd be forcing the action. AAL, just like I said, if it's stalled out around that 1880 again, I would take some more shares out. Just did so. I still think we can get up to that $20 level, but at this point, $19 level, but at this point, it's that market. Like the ES here, if I can come back to it for a quick second, the NASDAQ rolling over, but the ES, it's just teetering and looking like it's going to be breaking down at this point. Like we're now down 0.1. So the only long I have left is AAL. I'm looking for a dip on Pfizer in front of 51. But if we can't start holding the bid here on the ES, especially through this like 46.70 level, which was that high going back into last week, those longs are going to be pretty much kaput. So AL's been strong. It's been a couple of good long trades, but at some point you got to give up the ghost. And if the overall market can't bounce from these lows here and takes out 46.70, and I can take profit on AAL, I'm going to still do it. At that point, if I'm above break even and I can get out of AAL if we take 46.70 on the ES, I'm just going to go ahead and ring the register on that long and then look for places where I can reverse into the short. For now, look, I say all of that, like as AAL's coming up, like I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. It's just that this move isn't going as fast as I would have liked. Yes, it's working in the money, but while that's happening, I'd rather plan for the worst because there's not much to do. When you're sitting in a winning trade, you can either sit there and be like, just stare at it, it's great. Or I can think about if it reverses on me, what's my plan of action? If the market pulls a reversal and breaks key support, what's my plan of action? So I'd rather go over that as it's grinding to the upside.
I was just going to review DraftKings a little bit there because we actually were lucky. It absorbed that 31.60 and then just took it out and broke. So our last short there not going to work on DraftKings. So to me it was worth a try there, but didn't work out. I'm debating getting right back in as that wicked upside there on a few different refusals. But this is trading a little bit different. It didn't wick and then tank. It sort of wicked and stood up here. So there is some possibilities here for DraftKings to continue to move higher, but I'd still like to fade this name. Again, it's up 4%, so a lot higher than we'd thought here today. Taking out these levels, this was really the stop and go spot here. So we're stopped, and then we can see if we can go if it wants to go higher. But I don't know. We'll wait for DraftKings right now on that level. Apple was still at the same level that we've always been at. SoFi's doing its SoFi thing, and then there's SoFi right here, still taking out new highs. Is what I'm expecting on this name. We'll see if it can do that. We're waiting to get out to maybe 1660 or so. But right now, SoFi working, everything working. Microsoft bouncing around support. We will have a look at that as well when we get back. There's AMC. Did we just get that bit? Yes, we did. Thank you so much. AMC, what a good trade that is for us there. We'll cancel our buy now. As look at this, boom, 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 boom. AMC all the way to the high side today. And again, on the sticky note to defend down here, we did that. We got wicked out, but we got right back in. AMC with a nice out there. So, hey, so far so good. We're liking it. I think we're getting ready for the call over to Brendan over there at the big board. Is this called happening now? What is this called? Sector Watch. Let's go over to Brendan.
This one's working.
Hey guys, let's have a look at the S&P 500. I just saw 0.3 at the beginning of the day away from all-time highs. Which is crazy after the past week we've had. It's all about the travel names today. A lot of them in positive territory, and I mean big time. Look at Norwegian here, 10.5% to the upside for NCLH. CCL 8%, RCL about the same, 7.5%. All the casinos here as well having nice days, 3.8 for Wynn. LVS 4.6% to the upside, but it's the consumer services group and group of the consumer discretionary sector that is leading the way. Some of the retailers are negative, offsetting. Same story down here. Here's all the airlines: UAL, AAL, Alaskan, Dow, all 4+%. It is UAL 6% leading the way. Everything else in the industrial sector, little change. SWK, they're having a nice day, 4.5%. Overall, pretty muted. Otherwise, the rest of the market, you can see a little bit negative to a lot negative, depending on what you're looking at. Retailers under pressure, as we said. NXPI here leading the way to the downside for semiconductors today. The entire semiconductor group in negative territory. There are a few here in positive territory for tech stocks overall, including, that's Apple, 1.8%. WU as well, 3% to the upside in the software group. So tech stocks, little change to overall. Same story for communication stocks over here. Twitter having a nice day, 3%. Match, Facebook, 2.5% as well. Back to the upside. There are individual names kind of standing out, but overall, the rest of the market, if you take away some of the travel names, kind of flat on the day. So overall, so is the market. 0.02 to the downside, guys. Back to you.
Nuvei is not flat. I didn't even know Nuvei actually halted up for a stock down 48%.
What?
It made a bottom. It looked. That was my reaction. Sean was like, "What? Really?" It halted up. So it made a bottom here at 43. And again, it only has to move like 10% in a short enough period of time to halt up. So it goes to 50. And this reminds me of oh goodness, now it was Viacom, like when all that hedge fund stuff was going on, and that made that crazy bottom, and it halted to the upside. And you'd think when a wipeout bottom like that gets made and it reopens, it's going to scream from there, but nothing is happening. So I'm a little bit surprised that it would halt upside, and then essentially, I want to call it barcoding, but that's a $5 range that it has here since reopening, which is about 10% in either direction. Man, if it's not going to move up after a halt up and relief of pressure like that, I don't know what's going to cause it to go. So instead of like just sort of sitting gambling like it's going to be a long from that point, it's almost like you want it to break out this 53 high. I wouldn't be sitting on the bid here because I've seen wipeouts like this before, and usually that kind of a turn is good to VWAP or good to like resistance here at like 60, but it's just not happening. So a scalp breakout at 53 makes more sense because you can get out in and out pretty quickly. Otherwise, some shocking price action on Nuvea. I just would anticipate that it would be really strong. If you took that halt up, like you barely even made any money. Like you made like 20 or 30 cents. You'd think you'd be making dollars on that. ISIG, I might have missed a top, but like I said, I'd rather miss it than get burned. So 24 looks like it was the high. I didn't find my way into it there, guys, and now it's going to capitulate and fall back into the downside. Did give you a lower high opportunity there. AAL, look, the NASDAQ, so the ES can't seem to remain strong here, sort of breaking. And it's 0.1 to the downside, but I was able to get out again when it went to that 1880, and then for the third time it sort of failed at that particular price, breaking through, failing at 1885. So I'm going to get out close to break even on the second breakout trade and then go back to square one. This was the original top of the market break, pre-market high break, and the bottom of this range and support was down at 1820, 1820, 1825. I'll wait around here for AAL at that particular price. This is where I want to sort of slow down. Pick your spots here. And another name which was a little bit surprising, but if you went to Target, they're down as well, as Brennan would have shown you on the board there. But Walmart, down 1%, down around 137. So if that starts to accelerate a little bit, the higher low that it put in, of course, just sort of going back into Friday, which was a crazy day, and this one bounced off a double bottom, put in support at 136.50. That's not too far away. We're actually getting very, very close to that price. So a consolidation Walmart at that price would be a good one for a quick little scalp long, as I didn't realize Walmart was quite that weak today, but there it is.
Yeah, we just averaged in here to Ford. I mean, not really averaged in, we were pretty much out of it. It comes right back into this level, and now see if we can get 82s. I mean, this would be great. Oh, we're at 83. Okay, so we'll see if it can go to 83 now, and we can take that. We just got a 77 bid there, so give me this 83, man. We're sitting here. We'll see if we can get this as it goes. So hopefully we could get a nice little wipeout here and print some 83s. There it is. So there's a nice little 83 offer that we just got hit on. So now we go to the upside, and we see what happens now with this Ford trade. Hey, man, there it is. 1977 comes right back in. We like it so much. We buy it twice there. We bought 78s and then we bought 77s. So here goes Ford, hopefully continuing to move back to the upside. And I'm just like I'll take another 84 if we can get it there. And then we'll just watch this, man. DWAC is on the move. What, CFVI we're hearing
57
about?
57 is last week's high on DWAC.
Yeah, what's CFVI though? That was like a 13, 14, yeah. So that's still hovering around there. We can check out DWAC in a minute. Looks like that's going to be the mover. CFVI, although people yelling about it. Okay, there it is. Yeah, so nice little move upside there for this name. Yeah, this has been a little bit of a problem. Obviously, we know this is Rumble, so we'll wait to see where it goes. But again, maybe it's more interesting once we get to some of these high levels. We've seen these spikes before, so just be careful with some of these names.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know if you guys heard as my mic might have got picked up there, but 57, if you go back to the second here, pop up through that price on DWAC, and it's going to make it's going to try to make the same high. 57.40 looks like where it topped out there. Back to the 1 minute for you because it's just parabolic into the same price range. So what I'd like to do, I'm not already short, and the reason I'll give you here is I want to see it test that high. The bid just would have tailed off there, so yeah, let's see if I can get in. I was just able to get some shares there at 57. The bid just dropped to a 50-cent spread, so now I kind of want to put in a 50-cent range here. 57 short, 57 half, just above that high is going to be the out, so just to be able to get some liquidity in there. And again, when these are moving this way, it didn't halt, but like it's moving enough that you got to put it in that bucket of stocks that could halt. Like I'd rather see a bit of confirmation, and what I was getting at there is the spread opening up from bid to ask. When it took that 57 the second time, couldn't get through the high or couldn't get to that 57.40, went from 20 to 30 as the high, and then the spread opened up to like 40 to 50 cents with the offer staying the same and the bid just dropping. At that particular point, the next pop, stalled at 57. You're able to get shorts at 57 there, and now starts to pull back in. I hope that if that didn't make sense, I'll go over it again here. But quickly going to ring to Reggie for about $1 on DWAC here. You had to pay for locates, but it was only 1.50 cents on DWAC, so really, really cheap to find those borrows. And someone asked a question about fine share short on Interactive Brokers. For us, we have a massive easy to borrow list of everything that we can short for free, essentially. And if something is not on that list, or we have reach a firm limit, which rarely happens for those available shorts, we have a process by which we can then request for a quote to pay for shorts. That's not available everywhere, so you want to check with your broker what options you have available. If things aren't able, sometimes you just aren't able to go short names. It doesn't matter what broker you're trading with, right? Like every now and then we come with, that happens to us as well. But if you hear me say I'm going to check for locates, it simply means we don't have them free. I'm going to see if we can pay for them is what I mean. And then sometimes it costs too much and you don't want to do it, or sometimes it costs 0.5 cent and everybody but Arun would pay for it.
Yep, exactly. Shout out to Arun. All right, so now the market's starting to fade back in. We're not going to hold this too much past 75. We're going to hold it actually a penny past 75 here, as my chart is also on CFVI, but we're talking about Ford. So that's why we got out, man. It just ripped back up. You can see this. I mean, although I'm looking at the NASDAQ, and I understand, obviously, Ford's not going to follow the NASDAQ, but I do have the S&P up as well, and both names, both indexes, starting to fall down a little bit here. So we'll pick up some Ford again on the bottom here and just try to play this as an individual stock, not as much with the market. So we'll buy some 77s again and see if it can get back up to the upside. We'll put another offer around 79 and then again in the mid 80 or low 80s. See if we can get picked up there. Excuse me, at 79. So we take some 79 fills there and we'll see if it can get going back up to the upside. So we'll just keep on trying to rinse and repeat this Ford. You know, again, taking 2 or 3 pennies, what we're really doing, and I mean, those of you, and Neil just talked about the different platforms that are out there, but you know, we're able to scalp and get paid to get fills, use these spreads to get in and out. So that's giving us a great opportunity here. As there it is, like right there. Now I'm out at 81, 82 there on Ford. So really able to scalp this and virtually pay no fees and sometimes even make some fees on a maker-taker model. So, you know, that's what we're doing often on a lot of these names, and that's what I just did there on Ford. Some out at 80, some out at 79, some out at 81, and then obviously I didn't get out that much. I only got out of 20%. So if we can hold this all the way back, that would be fantastic. So that is Ford, hopefully back to VWAP is what I'm looking for, man, 1990.
And just going to quickly go to a higher time frame. Is DWAC now down to 55? So quickly off the top, it gives you $1. Now it's about $2 in the money. I'm sitting in front of 54. I just want to show you the high that it made at 57 here. It's hard to see, but this is the cluster where it was when retail sort of came in after 7 and it failed. And then it was right around this 54 that it consolidated. So, you know, when you see a level like that everybody is eyeballing, I think the next level down, there's at 54 here, a cluster just below that as well. That's where I'm taking profit out. It's incredibly bullish. The volume is still pretty big. As a matter of fact, it just wicked down, oh goodness, like 10 cents away from my bid. So, you know, whatever. Like I'm actually going to go manual with this one. Just watch the level 2 and then see what happens here. If it breaks 55 again, I want to make sure I get some shares out in front of 54. Someone wanted me to hit it. Manny, I'll do it. The Super Mario, this is it. We can power it up. The DWAC was a good trade up the short side here. It still is. But now it is 1050. And because I can't, my Binance is, I don't know if it's working yet, but you guys can all find out what's going on with crypto.
I meant to show it, mine's working.
Yeah, oh, yours is working. Okay,
Well,
crypto and currencies, because we're going to Money Talks with Brendan.
Hey guys, yeah, back in positive territory at the bottom end of the board here today. Ever so slightly, Ethereum actually leading 2.5%. If you remember early on when you joined us at 8:30 this morning, we saw Bitcoin actually red on the day. So back to positive, which is good to see. I'll direct your attention to the Canadian dollar, guys, because we came down to this 78, 77.5 support area and bounced nicely once again. There was a Bank of Canada interest rate decision this morning. No surprise to anyone. No change on our interest rates this morning, still at 0.25% on the north side of the border. The euro, 0.5% to the upside. The dollar is actually kind of lower today, a little bit, 96 for the DXY. British pound lower on the day. Swiss franc as well to the downside. Everything else nicely higher so far. Your mortgage rates will not be changing yet, guys. Back to you.
All right, all right. We'll check it. Yeah, I mean, crypto, my chart was working, so we can actually go over a chart here. We actually bounced at 49 again, so we did dip down lower around 7 a.m. to 48 and change. And then it's just been an upside, really. You touched 41,250 on BTC, and now you're bouncing around 5,500. And I think, you know, this looks like a decent level here. Let's see if a daily chart will work. I mean, we've talked about this. There it is, over and over again. There was expected some pullback. I actually mentioned that we would pull back to 40, so I sort of thought that was a little bit of an aggressive call, but it looks like that turned out to be right, back down here to 43 or so, but now bouncing back upside. So I still think we could flush again here on BTC, but whatever, man. I think it just keeps getting bought up. It's a decent move down from 69 to 50, so that's a little ugly there, but there's been lots of names in the crypto space that has been getting flushed, and we did review that. So I still think you buy some Bitcoin, you buy some Ethereum on any pullbacks, but you got to have a larger time frame. They're great to day trade. There's absolutely no doubt about that. So if you're a day trader, I think you should enjoy trading crypto. But for right now, yeah, good call there. Win dropped down to 87 and ripped to 90. So this is another name that we talked about it when it was up 1%. You're now up 2.5%. So a good call there. And let's go Ford. I'm offering 85s right now on Ford. So another nice pickup down here for F, guys.
So I'm going to answer a couple of things. Michael Travis is like, why does the Canadian bill have a queen on it? My personal answer is I don't know why, and this DWAC chart has nothing to do with this, but I don't think there's a particular good reason why our chart has our
we
bill
know why.
I know why. It's because we used to be. Look, obviously we got our independence a long time ago, but we used to be a colony. I just think I don't think it's a good reason, but that's the only reason there that it is. It is time. You know who he is. He's always well dressed. He's our guest. It's going to be Brendan and the marketing guy. Let's go to the desk.
It is that time. It is just in time. Once again, Justin Kozach, Day Trade the World marketing guy, here with us to talk a little bit about some headlines that grabbed our attention this morning, including the one we talked about if you joined us in the pre-market regarding Roku and YouTube finally getting this deal done. This has been kind of in the works, I guess, for a few months now, but big deal apparently if you look at the stock for Roku.
Right, Roku ripping this morning after the companies are hitting play on a multi-year agreement. Finally, nice to see Roku and YouTube getting along after being at each other's throats in the comments for the last number of months. Roku not very happy about some of the things that have happened around YouTube, preference around results, and so on. So lots of arguing back and forth, but great to see them getting along now. And yeah, as we mentioned, Roku really ripping up 10 points on the day.
Yeah,
nice change.
We talk all the time on the show about the fact that if you buy one of those smart TVs with Roku kind of built in, you have a Roku. Outside of that, we don't really know a lot of people that have a Roku or use a Roku on an ongoing basis, but good for Roku, maintaining YouTube.
Right, small user base too, only 55 million users, so certainly a lot smaller than YouTube's monthly 2 billion viewers. So certainly a smaller player in the market, but definitely one that's driving some attention. So good to see that they're getting along now.
One kind of storyline that we won't be maybe terribly sad to see go away into next year is this whole SPAC mania that we've had this year. Yet another one coming to market, 1.2 billion valuation, which is nothing to kind of shrug off. But tell us about Tomorrow.io.
Tomorrow.io, came across them yesterday. They are a weather security platform. Sounds pretty technical, but really what they do is they help businesses understand the impact of weather events. So you can see that there's certainly some what's the word I'm looking for here?
Connections,
Talking
maybe?
is hard today. Some connection to organizations or companies that would look at weather and understand how they're going to adjust to that. So for example, aviation, transportation, railroads, sporting events. So being able to understand the impact of weather and then basing demand or basing your activity on that. So Uber, for an example, would be a great example of that, looking at the weather and saying, based on this, we know that we would need X number of drivers, or this might have an impact on our rates for passengers. So certainly an interesting platform. But SPACs are everywhere these days. I think that's the big story.
I
really.
mean, it's like we said, $1.2 billion SPAC, PTOC, the ticker. I just pulled it up here. It's done zero volume essentially and has done absolutely nothing. But interesting story if this follows through and actually gets done and de-SPACs, as we like to say. Better.com, another one.
Better.com not having a better week, unfortunately. Last week, or rather yesterday, we found out that their VP of Communications, head of PR, and head of marketing all quitting the company on the same day against the backdrop of this massive layoff and the scandal around that. The CEO of the company laid off 900 people, or 10% of their workforce, in a 3-minute Zoom call. So that seems to have raised the ire of certainly their ex-employees and their current employees as well, as some reviews of the CEO are coming into blind.com, and not a lot of love for the current founder of the company, and another SPAC on hold. So the company was hoping to go public. They did raise $750 million in that SPAC deal, and they were looking at a $6.9 billion valuation. So never a good look when all 3 of your communications people quit on the same day. So hopefully they can weather that storm and come out on the other side a little bit better. But it doesn't look good right now.
Yeah, I was reading about that actually last night a little bit, and I think there's much more to come when it comes to that Better.com story. Justin Kozach will be back this afternoon. Join us 2 o'clock, guys, through to 4 o'clock for the close. Justin will be back to discuss these and more topics. Thanks so much as always.
Thanks, Brendan.
Guys, interesting day so far.
Yeah, it's been a very, very interesting day. The market trying to hold up here, obviously, but running into some trouble. A new one for me that we actually might not have covered this morning. Of course, when DocuSign reported, we were all over this thing, making a nice couple of bottoms and some long trades off those lows. But a 150 double top here today, as I was just sort of noticing what's popping up my radar on my quote board. A fail break at 150, then a failure at through 150 again. So failed break means it got through 150, went nowhere, and then consolidated lower, pull back once, retested 150, failed, so short 149. I'll give it to the high of the day. So pretty simple structure of a trade there. You know where your out is going to be. We'll go 1-to-1 on the first bit and then VWAP retracement for the rest. So that's what I'm looking for there. And on DocuSign, in that, still in DWAC, it hasn't broken the high of the day. So I'm kind of looking for close to 54, 55. Otherwise, it has to take out that high of the day. Can't be a loser because we did take profit once. There is one name which you guys all know has earnings, but there's at least one other one that I think people are going to be interested in here. No, we're not going to earnings? Are we?
We are.
We are? Yes?
What's up?
Yeah, we can. I mean, my thing is not working today, guys, so here we go. Google Slides is not cooperating, but we can show you this way anyways. Yeah, UiPath on here, and it's trying to sign me out right now. I don't know why. UiPath and GameStop, the only two.
Yeah, I was going to say, everyone knows GameStop, but the other one there, UiPath, another Cathy Wood ARC name, going to be in play tomorrow for sure after they report. And you want to make sure you go for a catalyst. There is one thing I know that we need to do before we get out of here. I missed what it was yesterday, but today we're going to find out what national day it is. Make it a good one.
Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day so far, and what I'm sure about is that we are having a wonderful day on likes, 2,700. It's almost a record in a long time, so please help us to get 300 more likes to get to 3,000. That would be amazing, and I think and I'm sure that our trading community deserves that. Well, join me in Pride right after to keep trading this day, and happy National Brownie Day, everyone.
I was just telling you that yesterday. I couldn't remember what it was. And those of you in the chat, maybe you do remember. I know I saw that pay safe move. That's nice. National Brownie Day. Yeah, I love the brownies. And yesterday, of course, was Cotton Candy Day. So
but that's weird. Why
would a random day there? But we go back-to-back sweets there. I would much rather be a brownie guy than a cotton candy guy.
I don't understand cotton candy in the winter. That doesn't make any sense to me. So
yeah, I feel like it wasn't cotton candy.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. But brownies all day, every day. Sometimes we get them with the caterer brings them this morning. So I'm gonna second we head it to Memes and Movers. By the way, DWAC broke and reversed. So it took out that high of the day. I'm out. I reversed into a long trade, which I should be scalping some out in front of 58 because there was an offer at 58 holding this move up to the upside. So we'll see what happens with DWAC. That just came in. Oh my goodness, did I just get a bad trigger? Yep, I just got a bad trigger on my long out. That's why I essentially flat on that long. That's ridiculous. Either way, what I'm trying to get at there is I want a brownie. Hopefully they brought them this morning and I can grab one. But you guys are headed over to Trader Pratt and Miss V. It is time to see what's moving.
Welcome to Memes and Movers. I'm your host, Trader Prad. This is beautiful, Miss V.
Thank you, Brad. And hey, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Please make sure to be active on the chat. Ask us anything. And we would really appreciate if you smash the like button. How's your trading day going, Brad?
Not bad. Currently struggling a little bit with Roblox, but besides that, good. How about you, Miss V?
We can review my trades